everybody! Welcome to the greatest one-man show in the history of all mankind. This is the motherfucking Dusty Smith Show, and how you guys doing? Got a special, huge episode for you guys tonight. We got a week's worth of shit to cover, and covering I am, folks. Gonna start off tonight, as we usually do, with religious bullshit. Gonna cover the Super Bowl. Did you guys hear about the controversy with the Black National Anthem? I'm sure you did. Chuds freaked out. Gonna do some Beyond Parody before the break. Trash World. After the break, got a huge, long Chud watch. A little bit of Elon. We'll see how much we get to. Of course, we're going to do the after party with Dusty Smith. If you guys are not on my Patreon, you need to get on my Patreon. It's like whatever you can afford. I'm not greedy. Whatever you can afford, get on my Patreon. There's a link in the description of this video. We're going to do the after show. Been doing exclusive content for patrons only after every regular show. We do like a mini show for patrons, so be sure to get on there. And as always, at halftime, we're going to read all the super chats. A great way to moralize yourself forever and ever and ever. Amen. In the super chats. Hell yeah, be sure to super chat me. I will love you forever for it. All right, and folks, got to go ahead and kick the show off, because if we don't do it, we're not going to get it ended, because got so much to cover tonight. Like I said, we got a week's worth of stuff to cover. I was a little hungover. I went to a Super Bowl party. We're going to talk about that in my Super Bowl coverage. And I drank a little too much. Hadn't had anything to drink in like 6 months. Been doing good. And then I was like, fuck it. I don't want to do the show all hungover. I want to be on the top of my game, because you guys deserve that. You guys deserve the best. So, look forward to talking about that more in the Super Bowl section. But as always, going to kick off the show with religious bullshit. So open your hymnals to page 1. Let's do this shit. Ooch, 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 ooch. Get up. Religious bullshit. Religious motherfucking bullshit. Religious bullshit. It's time for religious bullshit. Silly Ray Cyrus, y'all. Are you ready for this? It's been a while. Hell yeah, gonna start off the right way with my favorite human being on the entire planet, Silly Ray Cyrus. People are like, Dusty, is that really Billy Ray Cyrus? No, it is not. It is Silly Ray Cyrus. Much better than Billy Ray. What did Billy Ray ever do for my achy, breaky heart? He did give me his daughter. But Silly Ray, much better. And this week, he's come to us to tell us about how the glory of God, sounds dirty, is going to invade the halls of Congress. You know, like Trump supporters on January 6th. And then they're going to be all demon-possessed. And they're going to manifest right there in front of everybody. It's really going to happen, folks. You better believe it. Silly Ray says so.
Well, I'm going to tell you something.
All right, tell me.
Here comes the glory.
Cool.
Here comes the glory. It's coming on in.
Come on
and
in.
The glory will invade the halls of Congress.
Invade my throat.
And the glory is going to come in like a mist right there in the middle of it.
Like a thick
and demon-possessed congressmen are going to manifest right there in front of everybody. You're going to see some of them react. And don't be surprised if suddenly there's a session of Congress on television, and it's the same old boring sound with the gavel and all this stuff going on, and all of a sudden in the back you hear somebody say, bleh, and all because the anointing's going to come on the floor, and it's going to draw these demons out into the public for everybody to see. Don't be surprised when that happens. Well, I'm going to tell you something.
Not going to be surprised at all. I'm looking forward to it. Going to skip my daily wank for that one. Hell shit. Come on my face, Jesus. Get my demons all hot and bothered. I like that sexy ass Jesus does. And then my favorite hate preacher. Now, I don't like this guy because he's a giant piece of shit, but I do like him because he's destroying Christianity, and that's pretty cool, to be honest with you. I secretly think he might be on our team, and he's like infiltrated the Christians, and he's trying to make Christians look bad on purpose so everybody hates them. Probably not. He's probably just a giant fucking piece of shit. But anyway, it's hate preacher Jonathan Shelley, and he wants us American men to know we got to stop being such pussies and letting our women's do whatever they want. Oh, hell no, missy. You don't have a mind of your own or freedom. You're the property of the man like the Bible says. Tell us all about it, Jonathan Shelley.
Men will always be in charge. And in America, we need to keep our women in charge so that we don't get destroyed.
No, right.
Because if we allow the women to get in charge, you know what's going to happen? The Muslims will come and take in charge.
Muslims.
Then another group of men will come in and take control of women. And let me tell you something. Men are in control of every aspect of society.
True.
Whether they like it or not. And in fact, men are dominating every single female sport right now.
That's not true, but okay.
I mean, men have broken every record. They've broken every women's track record.
They literally have not done that. I know he's trying to shit on trans people, but literally no trans woman owns a single overall world record in any sport in the goddamn planet. Not one. Now, there is like an over 40s league, like a regional over 40s league that a trans woman has done well on, shit like that. But talk about overall records, all the women combined, no. He is just lying, but of course that's his job. Please continue. Lie to me.
And they've broken every women's Olympic swimming record.
And
I mean, it's just, women's rights. What rights? They're getting stripped away. The only person that's getting rights these days are sodomites. Sodomites are the only ones getting rights anymore. Women are getting them stripped away. Men are getting them stripped away. Christians are getting them stripped away. And everybody is just basically lifting up sodomites. Why? Because they forgot these rules.
Forgot it, y'all.
And you know, it's real easy for the sodomites to blend in when men don't look like men and women don't look like women.
It's so easy to blend in.
And because we have all this androgyny and we have all this confusion of the genders in our...
I just wish we could return back to the days when men were men, you know, like the 80s with the hair bands with worn, I saw red. Like every dude looked like a lady. There was literally a song about it. Dude looks like a lady. But no, it's worse now somehow.
Society, it's hard to even tell if someone's, you know, one of these disgusting pervert pedophiles or not.
I mean, it's real easy. If they're standing up in front of a church behind a pulpit, they're probably a disgusting pedophile. Very easy to recognize, Jonathan Shelley. Might want to open your eyes. And then one more for Jonathan Shelley. He's drawing the big crowd, y'all. Man, I wish I could draw crowds like this. And once again, apparently he's no fan of the women's. What's wrong with you women's wanting to do what you want to do? Bad ladies.
The last thing we need is for more men to say like, oh, let's empower women. What has that ever done for America?
Equal rights.
Are you going to tell me that America's gotten better in the last 100 years by empowering women?
Yeah, it has.
All these women judges. I mean, you really think the streets are safer now with all the women cops, women district attorneys, women judges, women governors?
Except for
you know, that's destroying America. And they're empowering Antifa. And they're empowering all kinds of, they're gambling $1 billion away is what they're doing.
What?
It's destroying America. And you know what? Getting sucked into this garbage. There are so many men today getting sucked into this garbage thinking they have to let a woman tell them what to do. You know, we need men to stand up and put women back where they belong in the kitchen.
Make me a sandwich, miss.
Back into the home, raising the family. Why? Because they're better at it than men.
No, so much better.
You know who's the best at raising children? Women. You know who's the best at cooking? Women. You know who's the best at being women? Women.
Wrong. I mean, like, no offense, ladies, but usually the best chefs on the earth are men. Looking at you, Gordon Ramsay, it's raw! But like Michelin stars, mostly men. Of course, that's probably because of the patriarchy and men have more like money to open restaurants and shit. Anyway.
Make women women again. I'm sick and tired of seeing all these women that are men.
And stop looking at them.
It's gross. And you know what? We need some real men. You know who's not good at being a man? Women. Just as bad as men being women, you know, is women being men. Hillary Clinton's not a good dude.
Hillary Clinton not trying to be a dude. Hillary Clinton trying to be a woman. And since trans women are women, pretty much is okay. But anyway, then move right along. Christian preacher Andrew Warnock. Oh yeah, this dude rich as fuck. But he wants you guys to know, even though he makes $11,000 an hour, he doesn't need my money. Well, I guess not if you're making $11,000 an hour, but clearly need somebody's money. Anyway, let's listen.
when you receive an offering, people think, well, you're just wanting money for yourself.
You are.
You know, I don't care whether you give or not.
You do care.
God's going to take care of me, I promise you.
He's not. He doesn't exist.
My needs are bigger than what you can meet.
Well, then why are you asking for money?
I just figured out this week, I have to have $11,000 an hour, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days out of the year.
Nice.
You are not my source.
Who is
God
that?
is my source.
Oh my God.
I could leave here, and you know what? I didn't barely get here, and I'm not going to struggle to leave here. I've got money.
Imagine being these people. They're literally working at their jobs, paying this guy, giving him their hard-earned money, and he's like, psh, you're not giving me any money. I don't need you for shit, motherfuckers. And he's passing the offering plate, guilting them into it. They're literally paying him, and he's fucking shitting on them. God, man, talk about cucks.
But you need to give.
Why?
And there was a woman that came up during the altar call, and she said, do you remember me? And I didn't remember her, but she reminded me that the previous year, she was let out of a mental institution to come to church on a Sunday. And she says, I need some money. And I had just taught on this passage of scripture that I shared with you. So I said, what do you have? And she made the connection. She knew what I was going to do. So she went and got her purse, and she had a little coin purse, and she counted it out, and it was something like $78.35.
Oh my fucking God!
Like
you shameless cretin!
And she said, all of it, and I said, all of it.
Oh my God!
And I took my hands like this, and I took every penny that that woman had. She said that she wasn't going to get paid for a week.
Oh my fucking God, dude! You're a monster!
And I said, give me all of it.
Oh, I would ask how you sleep at night, but like a baby, because you're a fucking sociopath that thinks the whole world revolves around you and have no empathy towards anybody else whatsoever, but just horrible. Just when you think they can't get any fucking worse, they're like, checkmate, atheists. And then, speaking of shit that never happened, here's a dude that's so unbelievably hot, he's just sitting at a restaurant, and a woman who's a perfect 10 just comes up to him and, tries to get his dick.
When Monica and I got married,
so serious, y'all.
18 years ago, we moved into her little apartment, and
I wasn't rich, y'all.
She went out of town for a weekend to see a friend, and I had a friend coming through town from college, a buddy from college, and so he says, hey, do you want to grab dinner? And so he and I went to dinner. We're catching up over chips and queso, having a great time. And this woman walked up to us, and she was perfect.
She was not. She was not existent.
Beautiful. Everything was in the right place.
Why are you looking?
And she turns to me and says, can I buy you a drink? And I say, I'm married. Like
There's one thing I know about perfect 10s. It's how much they walk around offering to buy random dudes drinks. Yeah, that happens in the real world.
And she says, well, is she here? Because I don't care. And I hardly know any Bible, but I know Proverbs 5, 6, and 7. The only thing, the saving grace in that situation was I looked at that woman and I thought, oh, she hates me. She doesn't love me. She wants my wife to hate me.
She don't want your wife to know about it.
She wants my in-laws to hate me.
She don't even know your in-laws.
She wants my parents to hate me.
She don't give a fuck about your parents.
And she wants my unborn children to hate me.
She wants that dick. If she exists.
For just, a few minutes of ecstasy.
Is that all you got in you?
She wants to take my life and burn it to the ground. And that thought was God's saving grace.
So I murdered her. That's the end of that story. Definitely that guy's a serial killer. Let's look in his basement, y'all. Just saying. Bone collector. And then, from the Christian Nightmares account, one of my new favorite ones, it's Alex Jones, once again, telling us a story that never fucking happened, folks. I guarantee you, with every fiber of my being.
I've been a Christian since I was young, born again when I was younger, but been worldly, had a lot of problems. I'm not perfect. But I got to tell you, it happened to Mark Dice. It happened to me.
It didn't.
It happened to a bunch of other people I talked to.
It has not.
Before you're offered a national TV show, before you're offered a major record deal, they get you in a room and they say, listen, we want you to reject Jesus Christ and pledge yourself to Lucifer.
That is not true.
And it was an off-record meeting with me when it happened. It happened twice. Mark Dice tells the story, because it wasn't an off-the-record meeting. It was with the largest, what is it called? 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 What is it
It wasn't off the record, so you have a record of it. Has he provided this record? He hasn't? You're both shameless comment and liars? Yeah.
The largest reality TV show production company out there. And it happened to Mark Dice when he told me about it.
Isn't that the Survivor guy? Isn't he a Christian? Makes all those Christian movies? I'm pretty sure that guy didn't tell you to reject Jesus Christ.
I believe it because it happened to me. It's happened to Eric Mueller, Mancal Mueller.
No, it hasn't.
It's happened to a bunch of other people I know.
Never happened to anybody
and
ever.
You're sitting there in a meeting with people in a high-rise building around an office table, and you're like, are you kidding? They're like, no, we're very serious.
They're not.
And we need you to reject Christ and pledge yourself to Lucifer. And I tell viewers that story 20 years ago, and they go, that's insane.
It is insane.
No, that really happened.
It really didn't. Never happened. Well, why not just, record it? Why don't any of these people, have their cell phones recording if this actually happened? Why doesn't everybody who's, a famous singer come out and say, hey, they had me reject Christ, but I'm going against it now. I just want to tell you, no one's done that. You're just a liar, Alex Jones. But, hey, I guess the rubes buy into it because you're rich as fuck. And then it's the 80s again, folks. The 70s and 80s has returned. Satanic panic everywhere. And if you watch the Super Bowl, they were saying Rihanna's performance was satanic. I mean, it wasn't good, but it wasn't satanic. It would have been way cooler if it was satanic. But apparently, Billie Eilish, who I love, because for artistic reasons. Apparently, backwards masking, you guys remember that from the 80s, where you can play the song backwards, and Paul is dead from the Beatles, and you're gonna burn in hell, whatever. Anyway, let's play Billie Eilish songs backwards and see if you can recognize the satanic verses, y'all.
Here's even more proof that Billie Eilish has a demon. Watch this.
Watch this. I like that song. Okay, cool special effects. Now backwards. Okay, does anybody here kill it, yes, Satan? I thought she was staring. Even if it was saying that, how's that demonic? Tell me more. Ooh, so devilish. It's so creepy. If you left and walked. What does that even mean? That's just fucking gibberish. I mean, it is kind of creepy if you left and walked, because it's not good English.
Jesus is the only one who can set her free. Subscribe to learn more about
sexy white Jesus, the guy that was totally back in the Middle East with his cool bad head, is the only one that can set Billie Eilish free from left walking, I guess. I don't know. Don't think about it. Just send this guy money for Jesus and all of it. And then pedophile enabler Ken Hoven. For those of you guys who missed my after party about Ken Hoven, where we went to the whole long thing about how he literally covered up pedophilia on his creation museum thing, just a whole bunch of shit. It's crazy, y'all. Anyway, one of the things I read in the article was about how this boy was swimming in the pond on his property and died. And I just want to show you how much this psychopath couldn't give a fuck less about kids dying on his park grounds.
The little boy drowning in the lake.
Okay. Stephen and his family, he had a twin brother, two twins, both 7 years old. Their dad and mother were here, 5 kids. They were swimming in the lake. Mm-hmm. Stephen and his brother were a little bit, not autistic, but, headed that way. Okay. I don't know how they graduate those things. Dad is right there with them. I'm up here at the property, half a mile away, up here working on sermons. And I got a message. Oh, a boy just drowned. So we raced down there. I'm a lifeguard and water safety instructor. Apparently, the kid had come up under the dock. He was hyperactive, and he came up under the dock in 3 feet of water, hit his head on the dock, knocked himself out, is the best we can figure out, and drowned. No question, he drowned. So the dad, very supportive of the ministry, loves our ministry. He said, Brother Hoven, thank you for all you've done for the Lord at this place. I want to donate a gazebo to put on the end of your dock in honor of my son. He's not mad about it. Drownings happen all the time. It's sad. It's awful, but it happens,
It happens, y'all.
Dad was right there with him.
What you gonna do?
So what did I do wrong in that case? We have 16 lakes here. You can come swim in all of them. I'm not going to watch you swim in the lake. If you can't swim, don't get in the water.
Yeah, you little kids. What if you drown? I'm not responsible. I'm gonna watch you anyway. The dad loves me. Got a gazebo out of it. So just saying, win-win situation. Just goddamn, what a fucking psycho. And then I got to cover it. It's hard. It's brutal, folks. But we got to cover it. Several this week. Florida youth pastor arrested on child sex charges. Yep, he was messaging a little 14-year-old girl in his church and offering her money to send nude pics and stuff. And then here's another one. An Oklahoma pastor was arrested for child sex abuse. Yep, shocker. Yet another one. And this is just in 1 week, folks. Then we got Jack's total lack of surprise. This one's the Roman Catholic Diocese in San Diego said it may declare bankruptcy in the coming months as it faces what it calls staggering legal costs of some 400 lawsuits alleging priests and others sexually abused children. So, yep, I hate to have to cover it every single week, but we need to, because we need to continue to hammer it home that the people that are boycotting Drag Queen Story Hour, the people that are continuously declaring, insinuating gay people are grooming children, don't actually give a shit about any of this in any meaningful way whatsoever. They don't care. They're as transparent as the most crystal clear piece of glass could fucking possibly be. We can see right through them. It is just an excuse for their goddamn bigotry. They will be burning the churches down if they gave even an iota of care, but they fucking don't. All bullshit. They'll go to these churches, they'll give their kids to people like Ken Hoven's friends, and then when they die, they'll build a gazebo in their memory on Ken Hoven's property. That's how crazy these motherfuckers are. And speaking of which, here they are, folks. They're making efforts to raise the age of marriage to 16 in Wyoming, which seems now reasonable. Hey, why would you want to get married before you're 16? Why would you want to let people get married before they were 16? Doesn't even fucking make any sense. Signing a legal contract with the government about who you can marry before you're 16. 16 is still too young. But unsurprisingly, a few people raised objections to raising the age to 16. Guess what their objections were? Well, you don't have to guess. Let's listen.
The first bill for our consideration is House Bill 7. Reading clerk will read. Please read it in.
House Bill 7 engrossed. Underage marriage amendments.
I'd ask the body to resist this change and vote no on the bill. There are communities such as our Amish, Hutterites, and Mennonites here in Wyoming that would be in violation of this law if it was to pass.
The bill would also require anyone under the age of 18 to receive written consent from their parents under the eye of a witness.
It's 15 to 12. House Bill 7 has passed the committee of the whole.
The proposal to impose an age of marriage of 16 was favorable with some Republicans in the state, leading to the first real momentum the bill has seen in some time. Wyoming is one of 8 states in the country without a minimum age requirement for marriage. They're just trying to keep it biblical, those folks. It's the way it's always been. Marriage, according to the Bible, has always been a contract where the woman is property. Not even the woman, the child. You're supposed to sell your daughters off when they're 12 and 13. Way it's always been. You know, until recently, pedophilia has been the norm in this country, not the outlier. And then, nothing to see here, folks. Just a pastor holding up an AR-15. Definitely a sane society we live in.
Because we like works. We're used to traditional medicine. Because you can't go to Babalawo anymore, you go to consult a pastor. So pastors have become Babalawos wearing suits. Or can I tell you the truth? So they tell you have to do certain things in order to grab you and to grip you. And unfortunately, not all pastors, but there are some pastors who are operating under the spirit of divination. They know how to read palms, and they're not different from palm readers or diviners. So they can look at you, tell you about your past, the things that happened in your family tree some years ago, and you think that this is a prophet. How many people in Jesus' lifetime did Jesus tell things about their past?
0, because he didn't exist.
How many people in the lifetime of all the apostles did he look at and began telling them things about their past? There are certain things that has nothing to do with the gospel. God the
Anyway, thanks for dressing up, buddy. And couldn't even afford an AR-15. Had to cheap out with an AK-47. Psh, might be worshiping the wrong God. And one more on the religious bullshit. Gonna end it with this one. Here's a great way to win folks over to Christ. I mean, he doesn't even seem like happy, like he's trying to spread a message of love. He seems like angry at them. You motherfuckers gonna burn in hell if you don't join my cult. Watch this. Thinks he has a captive audience in the food court at the mall.
Shouting the name of Jesus and spreading the gospel in a crowded mall.
Douche. Gotta record himself. Show his ass. Nice tattoos. Every knee will bow down and every tongue will confess. Sounds like a threat. Every knee will bow, every tongue will confess. Well, so much for free will. Isn't that why Jesus doesn't interfere in rapes and pedophilia? Because he can't interfere with free will? But he gonna make me bow my knee and confess he's Lord? Psh, not unless he forces me. He did. If Jesus loves you so much, how come you walking with a cane? I'm just asking. Tell Jesus I'm just not that into him. No means no, Jesus. I have my own plan and purpose. Jesus can suck a dick. Jesus! So keep it up, dipshit! That's how you turn people off to Jesus, even more than they already are, which is a lot. And that's my religious bullshit. Hell yeah! Let's see what you dirty, sexy pores had to say. I missed you guys so much this week. Thought about doing a show Wednesday. I didn't do it, but I thought about it, which is just as good. Fuck Jesus, I know, right? But he is kind of sexy with his chiseled abs and stuff. So as long as he willing to take it, I'll dish it. Food fight, I wish. Throw something at that motherfucker. And better, AR-15s jam more easily. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're out like fighting in the sand and shit. But I'd rather have AR-15, I think. You know, because they're cooler and they look better and whatnot. Thou shalt not kill. Psh. That's just a recommendation. You have to actually follow those rules. Christians don't. And all right, folks, move right along. Gonna do a little thing I like to call Super Bowl. Nailed it as always. You guys watched the Super Bowl 2023, so I have not watched the Super Bowl in many a year, folks. The last time before this time I watched the Super Bowl, I told you guys the story before. I was sitting alone in my room watching the Super Bowl, and knock on the door. It was the cops. The cops were like, hey, do you have a guy who lives here that's name is Nate? And I was like, yeah, I just lent him my car to go to Walmart. And they're like, yeah, well, he got arrested for shoplifting. You got to go get him out of jail. And he took my car. I didn't have the car. So, I was like, Nate shoplifting? And they're like, yeah, he shot all kinds of shit, dude. He in jail, you got to go get him. And so my car is at Walmart, which is like 5-7 miles from here. And I don't know why I'm so stupid. So when I lived in Denver, I was really insecure about my height because I'm like 5'7.5". The half is the important part of that. And so I wore shoes that made me a couple inches taller. They was like high heels, and nobody could tell is what I would tell myself. Why everybody could tell. Anyway, I put those shoes on to walk 5 miles to the Walmart to get my car back to go get Nate out of jail. But they were so uncomfortable. Mistakes were made. My feet were hurting so goddamn bad before I even got there. Anyway, long story short, Nate ended up moving away so he can go to jail and committed suicide. So I have not watched the Super Bowl since then until Sunday. Me and Jeff's like, we got to go watch the Super Bowl, dude. And I was like, I don't even know who's fucking playing, but I'll take you anyway. So we go to a Mexican restaurant, order some frozen margaritas, and watch the Super Bowl there. It was all right. I had a pretty good time, I guess. Overall, can't complain. But as you might imagine, Christians who have to have moral panic about everything were freaking out about it. First off, there was a civil rights song that they've been singing for a long time. And I guess, because the majority of the NFL is black, and also like in the regular national anthem, there's like a line in the second verse that talks about slavery. Not amazing. So they sang a civil rights song before the national anthem. And obviously all the crackers was mad as shit. Case in point, Benny Johnson from the Left Can't Meme, who is funded by billionaires, got on there to tell us how we should outlaw the free speech of anybody who wants to sing songs that he don't like, because these people are definitely unserious human beings. They don't actually give a shit about freedom of speech in any way whatsoever. They'll shut us up as soon as they possibly can. Don't believe me? Here's him admitting it.
So I said, I think I'll root for the Eagles. That's how I decided who I was going to root for. I don't know. Are you a Chiefs fan? Are you a Phillies fan? Are you a Philadelphia fan? An Eagles fan? Whatever, man. I'm not trying to piss you off if you're in my audience. I just don't follow sports very closely. I obsess over politics and culture. You got me. And quite frankly, sports is woke culture, and it's really repugnant to me. And so I don't follow sports super closely.
So woke.
That being said, I do watch the Super Bowl for cultural moments, like the Black National Anthem being sung. How the hell is this even a thing? What a repugnant, degenerate thing to do, to split up a national anthem by race.
They didn't do that. No one said it was the Black National Anthem except for you crackers. I can't say cracker, except for you assholes. And, it's okay for black folks to sing songs in this country without it being illegal. But maybe not for long.
That is antithetical, of course, to America. It should, quite frankly, be illegal. You shouldn't be able to do that. Is there a white national anthem? I'm not sure anyone would be very happy with that being sung. Carrie Lake was...
People are thrilled when you sing it. They literally force you to sing it every single sporting event. Every high school, every little league, every college, every professional, every game of every sport fucking ever. We sing this song over and goddamn over again. Some people say, hey, is there a White History Month? Yes. Fucking all of them. God damn it. Anyway, continue.
In the event last night in the stadium, she refused to stand for the Black National Anthem. Good for her. Okay. Nobody should stand for the Black National Anthem. There shouldn't be a Black National Anthem.
You shouldn't stand for either one of them. There shouldn't be any kind of either song sang every fucking time. It's boring as shit.
Because America is a country that is founded upon all of us being created equal, regardless of the melanin amount in your skin or where your ancestors...
It was supposed to be, but that's literally not what it was. If you read the Constitution, what it was founded upon, they literally said some people, blacks, were not worth as much as other people, white. So the idea we were founded, this idea all men were created equal, while the people that founded us literally owned slaves is, what's the word? Bullshit!
Were raised. That's literally where the color of your skin comes from, right? Thousands of generations of your ancestors living in proximity to the equator or far away from the equator.
Yes.
It's just the way that God designed you.
No. Evolution designed us that way. God didn't design any of that shit.
So that you can live in the environment that you happen to be located. It is absolutely repugnant for this country and for the NFL
it's a song, dude.
To sit there and to placate the woke activists and to have different national anthems split up by races. And what happens if you follow this line, this through line? Are you going to have there are Asian players in the NFL? There are Irish players in the NFL?
Yeah.
There are foreign players in the NFL? Like, what happens when you split up the national? Like, are NFL games going to be like 400 hours long?
They're
you have to play
long.
like you have to play the Samoan national anthem.
Cool. They do a haka. That would be awesome. I would watch that game. It's a I'm sorry, that's culture appropriation. I guess I shouldn't do hakas. Anyway, make it illegal. You're only allowed to sing one song forever. 10,000 years from now, we got to be singing this one song over and over again at every sporting event for the rest of time. For some reason, no change, folks. Change is evil, and of course, they was all mad about it on the Twitter. Matt Walsh was like, no other country on earth is ridiculous enough to permit racial groups to perform their own national anthems before major events. Well, cool. They should be based like the fuck we are. You know, I ain't got no problem with it, you whiny piss baby. And then Marjorie Taylor Greene was like, Chris Stapleton just sang the most beautiful national anthem at the Super Bowl. Guess what race Chris Stapleton was? I wonder what it is about this dude she likes so much. Can't put my finger on it. Whitey, whitey, white, white. But we could have gone without the rest of the wokeness. And yes, if you're wondering if the word wokeness means black, you're correct. It absolutely does mean that. But then she got roundly mocked and ridiculed because Chris Stapleton is actually woke as fuck himself. Yeah, apparently he a Black Lives Matter supporter, so good. And Chris Stapleton just sang the most beautiful national anthem, and Seth Sherwood said conservatives when a woman is allowed to fly a plane. Yeah, they had women's that were pilots flying planes. They was all pissed about that because it's woke when a woman can fly. And anyway, they roasted the shit out of her, and good. She wasn't the only one, though. All of the conservative influencers and senators were out there making a big deal about it, like Megyn Kelly. Yes, I know that's not how you pronounce her name, but since she don't spell her fucking name correctly, I'll say it any goddamn way I please. Anyway, she got on her show, and she was whining because they are special snowflakes.
We're still on news of the day, including the Super Bowl. So can I tell you, like, it wasn't as bad as it's been in years past, but it was a woke Super Bowl, and it was annoying. Why did we need the all-female flyover? Which even on Fox, they were sure to highlight it's an all-female flyover. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you for reminding me that women can be pilots. I didn't know that. And then, of course, we had to have the black national anthem in addition to the regular national anthem, which is totally divisive. There is no reason to have a black national anthem sung before the Super Bowl. But there's one national anthem. It unites us all. It's about love of country. There's no point.
It does have that line about slavery in it, but we don't normally sing that part.
In dividing us by race, going into something that is already unifying as a country. And then we had a parade of left-wing celebrities all over the ads, from Amy Schumer.
Most celebrities are left-wing. That's just sort of the way it is when you're a creative type. You're more likely to be left-leaning because right-wing people are lacking in empathy, and you need empathy to place yourself in other people's shoes, and then that just helps you be more creative, and you guys don't do that. Plus, like, you don't smoke the weed enough, and the weed helps you. So, it's not our fault. You guys are incredibly untalented.
To Ben Affleck, who won't even act with a Republican. He refuses to act across anybody who's openly Republican. To Serena Williams, like, you could go down the list, and all I could think was, like, they don't get it, right? The people who put together the entertainment, who put together the ads, they're not even trying to, like, think about the other half of the country. They're just pandering.
I know, right? The people paying $30 million for a minute commercial, they're not even trying to make money. Literally, that's all they're doing. They have focus groups. They know exactly what's going to make the most amount of money, and they know that most of the public are not whiny piss babies like you and don't give a shit if Serena Williams votes Democrat. They don't know what Ben Affleck's political affiliation is. They just see them, and they're like, ooh, famous person drink Coke? I'm going to drink Coke. It's literally all it is. Why do you guys hate capitalism so much?
Want to pander.
Yes.
And it's fine. The game was great, but it is.
That's what capitalism is. Pandering to your consumers. That's what the whole gig has always been about.
A slight irritant as you're watching the game.
Well, I have to agree. I know, right? And I wonder why that is. Why this keeps happening. Why can't we be united? Why can't we all be included in and anything and everything entertainment-wise.
Why can't we have more inclusivity? Isn't that woke?
I didn't know that Ben Affleck wouldn't act with Republicans. I never heard that before. I do know that there are a lot of actors in Hollywood who are afraid to be honest about their political leanings.
Good.
Because they're concerned about being canceled. And that's happening in every industry.
I mean, it's not, but it should. Because fuck all y'all and stupiders spreading bull. Proof, folks, proof. Look at this. Rihanna, who is apparently extremely pregnant, wearing some baggy ass clothes, wearing a pentagram. Look at that pentagram she's wearing, folks. Zoom up on it. Oh my God. Oh my fucking God. And he rightfully, this guy's not a liar, says, how would the masses know we're worshiping Satan? Easy. We're going to put a pentagram on your devil suit. That's right. We want you to know because we're laughing right to your face about how much we're worshiping Satan with our pentagram. Oh, it's not a pentagram? Oh, it's just a blurry picture. When they zoom up on it, you can see that it's just a buckle. Yeah, that's not a pentagram at all, dude. Oh, my God. It's still up, folks. His tweet is still up. He knows it's not true. They've zoomed in on the picture and they've shown him it's not true. 16,000 likes, still up a fucking week later. Because they do not give a shit if what they say is true or not. They know their audience does not give a shit if it's true or not. They know their audience won't even click on it, won't even look into it, won't even check into it a single bit. It just go ahead and reinforces their preconceived notions. They can move along with their day, believing that they're right, and that's all they care about. Truth has no basis on their narratives whatsoever, and another great example of these whiny fucking piss baby snowflakes. Here's the Hodge twins, these fucking meatheads who decided to sell out and become conservatives. Here's how pathetic, whiny snowflakes these people are. You can't even parody to this. The NFL managed to turn the USS Carl Vinson gay. Told y'all, Super Bowl 2023. That's what. That's right. Look how woke they are, folks. It's a rainbow, militaries, wokeness, woke only. Yeah, this is not a rainbow. This is just the normal color of their shirts. Conservatives are so out of it now that even seeing colors triggers them, folks. Even when it has nothing to do with gays, rainbows, just the inclusion of any kind of color whatsoever. Wokeness. And yep, just found out that there was a whole thing during the Super Bowl where conservatives thought the normal Navy flight crew uniforms were an LGBTQ thing and whined about it. Because of course they did. They always have to have something to freak out about. They have an oppression fetish. It's what they get off on. It's what these meatheads masturbate their tiny penises to at night. How fucking oppressed they are as they count their goddamn money. And that is my Super Bowl coverage. Did you enjoy the show? Somewhere over the rainbow should be our new national anthem. I dig it. My parents have rose again, woke and evil. Sounds cool as shit. Red as the devil. I know, right? Can't have any kind of color. It's got to be like gray, Confederate gray. That's the only color that's allowed. Otherwise, it's woke and gay and shit. You don't want that. Jesus wanted a lot too. He gets us. Yep. I was going to talk about that, but I had to cut a lot out of the show tonight because we have so much show to cover, folks. And folks, get in your super chats. Going to read all of them before we hit the Chud Watch. The Chud Watch is here, but we are all the way up here right now at a Beyond Parody. My favorite section. Let's fucking do it. Beyond Parody! And starting off tonight's Beyond Parody, it's Jimmy Doorknob. And good God, this guy has no backbone, no integrity. So, of course, he went on Timcast to spread conspiracy theories about the vaccines to little Beanie Baby. And in his life, as far as I'm concerned, Jimmy Dore has only ever done one cool thing, and that was spit water in the face of Alex Jones. But now he can't even be honest about that. This is what a shameless grifter this guy is. Now, I know his fans will probably say that the reason he's pretending like he didn't do it is because he doesn't want to get sued by Alex Jones, even though Alex Jones is not going to sue him at this point. It's been years and years and years. But here he is once again trying to pretend like he didn't actually do it because he knows, as Sam Cedar says, he shares an audience with Alex Jones now and stands to inherit more of them with his anti-vax and conspiracy BS, if he panders to them and if they think he's not a hater of Alex Jones. So here he is once again lying about the coolest thing he ever did.
All right, we got this from Mystery Guest. He says, JD is the best in the business. Lots of love to him. Ask him if he regrets spitting on Alex Jones.
Yes.
I hope so. You do?
Yeah.
Pussy.
My story is that I had some iced tea in my mouth, which is true, and I went up, and Alex Jones is funny. You can't deny that he's not funny. And when I got up there, he literally said, hey, I'm just trying to be nice. And that was so funny. I had a spit take, and that's what happened. But he quit. He walked away immediately afterwards, so it worked.
Well, let's check the video.
It diffused the system.
But you're saying you didn't just spit on him out of anger? Is that what it is?
My story is he was being very funny, and it was an involuntary spit take, and I do regret it.
I'm not going. Everyone get the fuck off my stage! Get the fuck off my stage! Get the fuck off my stage!
Yeah, so involuntary. He was just laughing. So, as always, Jimmy Dore lies about fucking everything. It lies when the truth is fucking worth better, folks. Because he's a shameless goddamn grifter. And once again, if you're a Jimmy Dore fan, fuck you! Please unsubscribe and get the shit out of here. And then, on Beyond Parody, folks. Speaking of Tim Pool, this is how insecure this guy is about being bald. It's amazing. Conservatives always telling us about big, strong, confident, manly man. And these guys they support are just the most pathetic little weenies you could possibly imagine. He looks so insecure about being bald, dude. It's okay to be bald, Tim. Just embrace it. Also, you're rich. How you gonna be rich and be bald? I'm not rich and even I bought fucking hair, Tim Pool. It's not even expensive. I don't understand anything about this. But anyway, on the Tim Pool show, they got a little jab at him about wearing his beanie outside. And it cuts off before he really gets into his whole defense. But you can tell immediately he's defensive about the whole thing because he's pathetic. Let's have a look.
I lived in Florida, man, and you can't go out. Well, I lived in Miami for a year, and you just can't go outside.
Yeah, with a beanie on.
Yeah,
there are little asterisks on the side.
No, Ian, you can't go outside at all.
No, Ian. No, Ian. It's not because of my beanie. It's because it's hot, Ian. Okay, Ian. Don't fucking pick on me about my beanie. And I pay your salary. Weak and at least we have the good liars in this hellscape in which we live to entertain us. And this time, they talking to a trucker who supports Trump and thinks there was no planes on 9/11. But don't worry, folks. He's not crazy.
Trump for president. Follow the leader. Trump for president. Twin tires. Go see the real films.
I did.
There's no airplanes.
There was airplanes all over them.
In the real original films.
There are films of airplanes hitting the towers.
There are.
Films don't lie.
You're right. I agree.
Right. So the planes were going into the buildings.
There's films of an explosion without planes.
There is not.
So you feel that the other film doesn't lie?
Makes a lot of sense to me.
That stuff makes a lot of sense to you?
Uh-huh.
I've been in that truck 50 years. I got 5 million miles. I didn't do it with my eyes closed.
So you think you might have spent a little too much time in the truck?
I'm not crazy.
You are crazy. You did spend too much time in the truck. This is what doing nothing but listening to talk radio all day long for 50 trillion miles or however the fuck long he did it gets to you. Rots your brain and not real good for your body either. Clearly, dude. Have a salad. And then on the Beyond Parody section, in which I love. Holy shit, imagine putting this video out yourself because you think this makes you look tough and not cringe as fuck. And then imagine that all the people you've surrounded yourself with didn't either respect you or were too afraid to stand up to you and tell you how ridiculous this made you look. Anyway, here's a sheriff who put out this video threatening a local violent gang leader. And I don't think this is going to make the gang leader more afraid. To me, this will make him more confident to commit crimes because you look like the Keystone Cops of this kind of bullshit. Let's have a look.
Darren Carter,
You think men like these are afraid of an uneducated, 125-pound punk like you that's never won a fair fight in your life and holds your gun sideways? Young man, I'll meet you on solid ground anytime, anywhere, light or heavy. Makes no difference to me. You won't walk away. And the convicts in jail, most of those men are good people who just found themselves crossed with the law. They're not evil, and they don't respect you or any punk like you. They'll toss you around like a rag doll. And for those who would use this message as a way to create false racial division in our country, take a close look behind me. Standing next to every cop is a leader of our black community. This is not about race. It's about right versus wrong. One last message to the gremlins. You don't like the things I've told you tonight? I got one thing to say. I'm easy to find.
He's easy to find. I got 2 words for you. Suck it. Oh my God, you're so pathetic, dude. That comes off as amazingly insecure. Pitiful. Pitiful. Don't try to look tough. You failed. And speaking of don't try to look tough, did you guys hear about this pro-gun lawyer who took his mom to get a MRI, and he's like, I don't have a gun on me, and then the MRI machine pulled his gun and it shot him and it killed him? Yeah, that's pretty dumb. Might not want to take your gun near the MRI machine. Were you scared of the MRI machine? What the fuck, you goddamn pussies? You gotta be armed fucking everywhere? Maybe take a break for 5 minutes. Homosexuals. Anyway, he dead. So, delete it. Belly up. And then more craziness from George Santos, the most Republican of all the senators. Here he is on Newsmax talking about how back in 2001, he stepped away from his company to form another company. Only in 2001, he was 13 years old. So, starting to think this guy might be a liar a little bit.
Of course, Greg, Devolder Organizations was founded in 2001 when I stepped away from my previous employment, and I decided to go on my own to do exactly what I did for other companies for years, which is capital introduction relationship.
That's right. When I was 13, I decided to step away from my company and do what I've been doing for years, which is help other companies who needed 13-year-olds to restructure all their shit. I'm a super genius. Just believe me. Holy God. Is this real life right now? And speaking of if this is real life right now, is there anybody weirder on the earth than anti-masturbation activists? Like, they need to jack off so bad, it's literally making them insane, yet they won't do it. Imagine thinking that not whacking it is some kind of war that you have to go to battle every day against. Man, dude, just jack it. Anyway, let's have a look.
This goes out to everybody struggling with lust, porn, masturbation, sexual immorality, sexual sin. I'm telling you, you can conquer it like you can. Dude, this was a stronghold over my life for so long. Man, there'd be times where I went a month without watching porn and masturbating, but it wasn't for the right reason. And then I come back, I eat my vomit again, right? But I'm telling you, it was when I come to God, like, God, help me, deliver me, show me, prove it to me. I know you don't want this, God. I'm willing to fight. I'm fighting. It was when I put my foot in the ground, right? It was when I stepped into the promise of Christ, stepped into the promise that God promised us. Dude, he will give you a way out. And every night, I used to be like a victim, right? Like my hands cupped, like I'm walking into the jail cell every night. Like, oh God, we might have had an amazing day, but you know I can't resist this. You know I'm not strong enough. Maybe I'll be stronger down the road. But no. It was when I stopped with the victim mentality. It was like, dude, I'm fighting. It's not like you just ask God, hey, God, deliver me. And after all these years of being a slave to this, now you're just, oh, I don't want to do it anymore. No, that's not it. It's a battle. It's a fight. It's a fight. You've let the enemy.
I don't think you're doing it right, dude. I'm one of the greatest masturbators of all time. I really have a gift, and it ain't never been a fight. Always been a pleasure.
You take so much territory your whole life that you're going to have to fight your way back. And wars are won by small battles that gain small amounts of land, territory, everything. You're going to have to fight that back. You're going to have to gain that land back, gain that territory back. It's going to come with blood, sweat, and tears. There's going to be nights where you're crying. You're going to be laying in bed fighting the devil, man.
Okay, like, if I decided not to masturbate, I wouldn't have to do any of that. Like, I would never do that, but it wouldn't take blood, sweat, and tears, dude. You just don't fucking crank it. It ain't that big of a deal, shit.
Fighting temptation, asking God to get you out of this. You're going to. And every single night I go to bed, the devil is on my heels to watch porn before I go to sleep. Every night. It's not easier now, but I have my sights set on God. I said, God, I want what you have for me. Man, if you've done all this in my life while I was still being sexually immoral, man, I can't wait to see what you have for me, God, now that I'm...
No one has ever needed to masturbate more than this dude. And it's real shame because I can remember back when I was a Christian, little kid, every single time I would masturbate, I'd feel guilty. Like I would have to ask for forgiveness every single time. I'm sorry, God, that I did that. I'm sorry that I failed you. And it's just a fucking shame because there's nothing wrong with it. It's as healthy as anything has ever fucking been. The only people that don't masturbate are fucking weirdos. Like literally like this dude. So it's a shame that we put that shame on children because it's natural, it's healthy, and everybody does it except for frustrated future serial killers like this weak motherfucker. And then one more on religious bullshit. Shocker, folks! Bigot opposes tolerance. So the reason this is a Beyond Parody, folks, is because it shouldn't be surprising, but it's almost surprising how far they will go to find offense. Even in the things that no rational human being should ever in 1 trillion years take offense to. Watch what Newsmax is taking offense to now.
That's quite a celebration of Valentine's that doesn't quite make sense. Tell us about when you saw it, what you thought, and what do you make of all this?
Greg, it just struck me as a concerted effort on the part of the First Lady's office and the White House.
This must be really bad. What did the White House do now? I can't wait to be outraged.
House communications team to celebrate Valentine's Day in a way that has nothing to do with the core of the holiday.
So they celebrate it in a way that's not about consumerism and capitalism and marketing to idiots in order to get them to buy shit for this fake made-up holiday. Almost exclusively created by the greeting card and the flowers industry. You mean they didn't celebrate that?
It is, as you say, about romance. To tell us to celebrate Valentine's Day.
So here's what they're mad about, folks. I can't believe I'm not making this up. It's a heart shape on the White House lawn that says, reach out with open hearts and helping hands this Valentine's Day. Could it possibly be more innocuous than that? How could anybody find offense to reach out with open hearts and a helping hand? Yet, here the fuck we are.
With open hearts, that seemed to me to be some kind of coded call to tolerance, perhaps.
Oh, no.
Which is a noble sentiment, but not fitting for Valentine's Day. In fact, our hearts on Valentine's Day are supposed to be closed to all but the one we love. And also, there was a reference to helping hands, perhaps some sort of coded call to community service of some kind. Dude. I'm not quite sure what helping hands would mean in the strict sense of Valentine's Day that we all know it to be, which is about romance. So it just...
It means the hand job, obviously. What the fuck do you think it means? A little handy. Come on, read between the lines, motherfucker. But holy shit. These the people with a straight face who acclaim the left are snowflakes. And that's why it is Beyond to Parody. And all right, got one more section. Gonna do a trash world coming up, so get your super chats in, because gonna read them after the trash world. That's what you gotta say. Dusty, I think you forgot what Valentine's Day is about. Cards? Sex? Being kind, that's terrible. I know. Wokeness. It's out of control. I can't believe they want you to be nice to people now instead of giant pieces of shit. Horrible. You know what this is, Snowflake? I do know what that is. It's a representation for the entire conservative movement. And move right along, folks. Let's do the trash world. Boom. The trash world. The trash world. It's a dumpster fire. It's hell. It's a trash world. The trash world. Everything sucks all of the time. Trash world. Trash world. And starting us off on tonight's Trash World, Senate moves Iowa's Don't Say Trans bill forward, which is great. But I don't know about you guys. I'm starting to think that this is not about protecting kids in any way. They'll say, hey, we got to move this bill forward to protect the kids. But if you actually look inside of it, a new Iowa bill would roll back child labor laws, allowing 14 to 17-year-olds to work in mining, meatpacking, demolition, operating guillotine shears, that sounds dangerous, and other dangerous jobs under the Business Back Bill. Employers wouldn't be civilly liable if kids are injured or killed. So, yeah, they're going to roll back the child labor laws because apparently the rich people are mad they have to pay living wages now. And they're like, hey, how can we get around the worker shortage? How can we get around that people are demanding we pay them a living wage? How about let's roll back child labor laws and put little kids to work? And, yep, what stage of capitalism is this? This went viral on Reddit. Apparently, they're hiring 14-year-olds at McDonald's. Yeah. Here's a, hey, parents, says Burger King. Hey, parents, says Burger King. Do you have a 14 or 15-year-old? No, I don't. Thank God. Do they need a job? We will hire them. As for applications. And this kid looks 10. He is underdeveloped for his age. But hey, he'll take your order. And I guess it's better than robots. I don't know. Don't know if that's better or not. But seems bad. Seems bad in this first world country we call America. And then on the trash world, lots of ACAB. Prepare to break out your ACAB emojis. Alabama police allegedly put a man in a freezer and left him to freeze to death. This is one of the most appalling cases of jail abuse the country has seen. The 37-page federal lawsuit begins on the night of January 25th to January 26th, 2023. Anthony Don Mitchell froze to death while incarcerated at the Walker County Jail. And the only reason we know about this is because a police officer went public and recorded things when he wasn't supposed to and uncovered the lies that were told. So obviously they lifted him up on their shoulders as the hero he is, and they celebrated him for his brave whistle. They didn't. They fired him immediately. Yeah, of course they did. Cops killed a man by putting him in the jail freezer where he froze to death. The only reason we know about it is because one correctional officer recorded surveillance video which contradicted the other cop's story, so they fired the correctional officer, because of course they did. Can't have the good apples in there, because the good apples spoil the bad bunch, right? It's supposed to all be bad apples. The good ones might actually make people think they're doing something right. Can't have that. And then, on the trash world, more ACAB. Yep, thank you. Thank you, all my heroes out there, for doing the ACAB. Welcome to the fascist police state of New York City. So here we have a cop that looks like he was a failed abortion. Look at this bug-eyed, genetic inferior piece of garbage, just looking for a reason to abuse somebody.
He's walking. You don't need to be doing that, okay?
Look at this fucking loser.
Don't do that. We're not going to let it go. We got to go. That bullshit, man. I'm not TV enough.
Why are you cover frame?
That's the bullshit.
He's not even doing nothing.
He just wants to spray him. He just wants to hurt you. Tell me torture is not legal in this country. Spray you again in the eyes. Yeah.
What did he do?
Pain compliance. They can torture you to make you do what they say. And then here's all the rest of them. You think they're going to hold them accountable? Hell no. They all have each other's backs. You cannot reform this. Here's some more of it, folks. This cop on a power trip pulled a gun on a 14-year-old girl because she had a cell phone in her hand. They are so terrified of their own goddamn shadows.
You recording?
For what? What are you arresting me for?
Because here's the deal, okay? You didn't identify yourself.
Okay. I told you my name. I gave you my name, my first name, my last name, and my date of birth.
Failed to identify what state you're out of. I have no idea who you are.
I didn't understand your question. I said, what do you mean? I said, I work here. I work here. So obviously.
Please put your other hand behind your back.
Please call a cop. Call another cop right now. What are you doing? What are you doing? I didn't do anything. What are you doing? For what? I said who I was. I identified myself.
Look, don't come up on me. Don't come up on me.
Dead ass. She's a child.
Well, tell her to get back in the car. Stop.
She's not anywhere near you, you fucking coward.
Get in the car.
No threat whatsoever. Just wants to intimidate people. Wants to bully.
Record everything.
Put your hands behind your back, please.
No,
Put your hands behind your back, please. Pretty please. Pretty please with sugar on top, but you're being arrested. Please do what I say. I might have to kill your 14-year-old if you don't do it, Sugar Plum. Please do it. Just good God. Nightmare dystopia in which we live. But don't worry, folks. Cops are spending our taxpayer dollars very wisely. In Toronto, police are spending $337,000 on a podcast to avoid the perception they are making propaganda. So, nailed it. That's how you do it. Make a show that is totally propaganda to prove to us you're not making propaganda. That's just crazy enough to work, Toronto. God damn it. Even in Canada, bullshit reigns supreme, and it's all over the world, folks. Talking about a dystopia. Over in China, they have new drills for how they handle protesters to make sure nobody can see or hear them. And it oddly sort of looks like a street magic show, but like from hell. Watch this scary ass shit. So protester, covered with the flag, don't let anybody see. Calling reinforcements. Nothing to see here, folks. Totally normal. Look at the cool way we're standing. That's how you know you can trust us. Another one comes in. We need 1,000 people to block this one dude. And then my cool stance again. Switch! I hope he turns into a lion at the end of this or something. This better have a big payoff. Where's Siegfried and Roy when you need them? Oh, no, he got arrested. He got turned to the line. He got arrested. Oh, I didn't see that coming. But no, he's one of them. He's one of them. And you can tell by the cool way they turn in unison, like automatons without any kind of free will of their own. Super cool, China. And then I was going to talk about J.K. Rowling. I might skip this one. J.K. Rowling is saying, hey, remember when I did all that transphobic bullshit? Like I specifically provided links to anti-trans clothing, and then when Stephen King came out and said that he supports trans rights, I unfollowed him, and I just been the most giant piece of transphobic piece of shit you could possibly be. Well, you guys didn't understand. You misinterpreted me. I'm actually cool with trans people, but you're not. You're trash. And then she's suing people for telling the truth about her, so they're having to go public and apologize. Pale ontologist says, since J.K. Rowling keeps using the UK's ridiculous libel laws to sue Brits and apologizing for calling her out, let me use my U.S. privilege to say, Joe, you're a disgusting bigot. J.J. Wells says, I would like to publicly apologize for a previous Twitter thread where I interacted with J.K. Rowling on matters relating to the transgender community. I have now removed these tweets and would like to apologize to J.K. Rowling directly for causing blah, 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 blah. Yep, rich people. They have different rules for freedom of speech. It doesn't apply to you, only to them. They want you to shut the fuck up. And speaking of the trash world and the trans issues, folks, here's Charlie Kirk outright calling for violence against trans women. This is the kind of shit that's led to murders of trans women. He knows what he's doing. They're doing it on purpose. This is not stochastic terrorism. This is just straight up terrorism.
And these people are sick, and I don't say that lightly. The NCAA is a perverted organization. They platformed a biological male who won a national championship and then was allowed in incredibly disturbing detail to be around you and your fellow competitors. And again, I blame the decline of American men. This never should have been,
The disturbing detail is she was minding her own business, changing in the dressing room, and they were gawking and staring at her. So disturbing.
Someone should have just took care of it the way we used to take care of things in the 1950s or 60s. But, as you have testosterone rates go down and men start acting like women and they don't do anything, then, hey, who's to say? Look, there are a lot of sick people in the world, unfortunately, and without the strength to go against them, the country's going to completely. And these people are sick.
Yeah, we should handle them like we did back in the 50s and 60s. He's literally talking about beating trans women in bathrooms and locker rooms, killing them. That's what they're talking about. While at the same time claiming other people are sick, folks. This is what conservatives are rewarding in our society. These are their thought leaders. Trash all the way down. And speaking of which, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Here's Pastor James posting this picture. Well, no more Star Trek Discovery for me. Oh no, they had gays on it. I guess the demographics are focusing on the LGBTQ. Sad day, but just same verse, a different day. This is exactly what they did back in the 60s. Your friends from the 1960s South said roughly the same exact thing when this happened. Remember the Kirk O'Hara kiss? Don't let the turbo lift door hit you on the way out. You guys are fucking dinosaurs. Why are you not extinct already? Hurry the fuck up. And then on the trash world, you guys remember the Buffalo shooter, the guy that went to the grocery store that was in a primarily black neighborhood and murdered 10 black folks for no other reason than the fact they were black? One of the most horrific things I've ever seen. I didn't show the video, but I watched it, and it really had a major effect on me, folks. This is the consequence of toxic troll culture, the 4chan bottom feeders. The only goal is to be the worst person you can possibly be, and then there comes a point where words aren't enough anymore. They want to be even worse than that, and the only way to become worse is to commit violence. And so that's what they do to become a hero to these other bottom feeders on 4chan. Well, he was in court, and he finally spoke today. Here's what he had to say.
I'm very sorry for all the pain I forced the victims and their families to suffer through.
So manly.
I'm very sorry for stealing the lives of your loved ones.
It's literally incel culture right here, folks. These guys who can't get dates, can't get girls, they hang in these 4chan, 8chan, 8kun forums all day long, interact with other people just like them, and encourage each other, feed into each other. And of course, not all of them do this. Only a very small percentage of them do shit like this, but it's happened so many times. This is what it leads to.
I cannot express how much I regret all the decisions I made leading up to my actions on May 14th.
Nobody gives a shit.
I did a terrible thing that day. I shot and killed people because they were black.
Uh-huh.
Looking back now, I can't believe I actually did it. I believed what I read online and acted out of hate. I know I can't take it back, but I wish I could. And I don't want anyone to be inspired by me and what I did.
Yeah, but they are. You are praised on 4chan. Other people will use you as an example when they commit their violence and their murder. And speaking of these mass shooter folks, remember the one who dressed like a female? The rapper? Robert Crimo. Great name. Well, apparently they've indicted his father also because his father made sure that he had the weapon to go murder people, even though he shouldn't have had a weapon. So fucking good. They should start holding these parents accountable. Grand jury indicts father of July 4th parade shooting suspect. Put him under the fucking jail. Every one of these parents should be fucking put in the jail. If you buy your child assault rifle or any gun, period, and they go out and kill somebody with it, fuck you. Your life is over as well. You should be punished. Make an example of these motherfuckers. And speaking of a trash world, Raquel Welch died. No! I must have masturbated to Raquel Welch so many times growing up. Oh, man. Sad day. Psh. Thank you. Thank you for your service. I'm not trying to be gross, but thank you, Raquel Welch. You were like an important part of my childhood, and I appreciate you, and rest in power and all that. Super cool. Not creepy. It's not creepy. It's a tribute. And then, speaking of a trash world, apparently the Russians put out this viral video of them giving widows who lost their husbands fur coats, because, you know, that's enough payment for you. All you lost was your husband. Here's a fur coat for you. Amazing country. But apparently, they took the coats right back from the women. It would be bad enough if they gave them the fur coats in exchange for their husbands' deaths in this cruel, pointless war. But they didn't even do that. They gifted them the coats, and then they weren't allowed to keep them. So, starting to think Russia might not be a very good country. Seems bad. And speaking of bad countries, fucking hellscape, Pink Pigeon allegedly died for gender reveal party. Yeah, I'm starting to think gender reveal parties should be illegal. I'm usually for freedom of speech, but straight to jail with you. Just fucking ask the doctor like every goddamn body else, you idiots. Why everything gotta be a big fucking production like you're all special? No one gives a shit what the goddamn gender your child is anyway. Let the kid get 18 and choose for themselves. That's what I say. Leave the fucking pigeons alone. Garbage humans. And speaking of garbage humans, this one hurts me because used to love me some Aerosmith. Steven Tyler will have a hard time overcoming his own words in the child sexual assault lawsuit he faces. This just goes to show you how wild things used to be and how much things have changed. So Steven Tyler had a rape, I guess is what you would call it. I guess he would say a consenting sexual relationship with a 16-year-old girl, but we would call it rape. Legal experts say the lawsuit against Steven Tyler for alleged sexual abuse is an unusual one, and one in which his accuser, Julia Misley, will be able to use his own words against him. So he wrote a memoir, and he just admitted to the whole thing. Because back in the day, having sex with underage girls as a rock star was not a big deal. It was considered like cool. That's what made you a rock star. Anyway, Misley alleged in her lawsuit that she was 16 years old when she met Tyler at an Aerosmith concert and that he performed various acts of criminal sexual conduct upon her afterwards, all while being aware of her age. She also alleged Tyler was granted guardianship over her, because of course he was, allowing them to live together and travel across state lines. Yeah, her parents just gave her to him. All while Tyler committed sexual assault, sexual battery, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. And you think, well, how could she possibly prove this? It happened so long ago. Yeah, he wrote a memoir, and he admitted to the whole thing. Let me see if I can find it. Tyler, Misley's allegations are partly corroborated by Tyler himself, who wrote his memoir of a 16-year-old girl he described as barely old enough to drive and sexy as hell. Tyler called the 16-year-old his partner in crimes of passion and said he almost took a teen bride. Tyler also described convincing the 16-year-old's parents to sign over custody papers for their daughter so I wouldn't get arrested if I took her out of a state. I took her on tour with me. As Misley lawsuits noted, Tyler's memoir even named Misley in the acknowledgement. So, there's some genius moves for you. Let me just admit rape the child and then acting like it's no big deal. Putting it in my memoirs is something to be proud of. But, yep, clearly he never thought it would come back to haunt him. Because back in the day, it was no big deal. Our society's outlook on that sort of thing has changed greatly. And another example of that, and this one really hurts, fucking lead singer of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Anthony Kiedis. And oh my God, like growing up, the Red Hot Chili Peppers were my favorite band. Used to listen to their tape. Guys remember what a tape was? That's how old I am. Fucking wore their tape out. Love me some Chili Peppers. The singer for the band, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Anthony Kiedis, described repeatedly raping a 14-year-old girl in Baton Rouge. Yeah, he wrote his own memoir where he himself admitted to doing this, folks. That's how shit the world used to be compared to now. In his autobiography titled Scar Tissue, released in 2004, wasn't even that long ago, folks. Less than 20 years ago, Kiedis was 23 when he met the girl at one of his shows and later discovered she was attending a Catholic school. This was in the mid-1980s when Red Hot Chili Peppers was touring around the United States and building a fan base. Kiedis, now 59, explains, "The next day, we drove to Baton Rouge, and of course, she came with us," he said. "After we got off stage, she came up to me and said, 'I have something to tell you. My father's the chief of police, and the entire state of Louisiana is looking for me because I've gone missing. Oh, and besides that, I'm only 14. Kiedis continued, "I wasn't incredibly scared because in my somewhat deluded mind, I knew that if she told the chief of police she was in love with me, he wasn't going to have me taken out to a field and shot. But I did want to get her the hell back home right away, so we had sex one more time." Oh, you mean you raped her one more time, Anthony? You might not have wanted to do that or admitted to it in your autobiography, but that's like what a nothing burger was back then. Even 20 years ago, they didn't think anything about it, folks. So, I mean, the times they are changing and good. A lot of reckoning is in store for these old-ass Asian motherfuckers who were rock stars in their younger days. And that is my trash world. What you guys got to say? Are you guys grossed out? I know you are. A lot of these guys probably have. Probably all of them. I like the Chili Peppers. I love me some Chili Peppers, man. The old school Catholic schoolgirls rule. Catholic schoolgirls rule. Although, now that I know that story, thinking about that song, it's kind of taking a dark turn. Yikes. He was shaking that girl. Okay, I'm going to move on. Not gonna read. All right, one more section, folks. Last chance to get in your super chats before halftime. Gonna read all of them after the next section. We got one more to go. It's a little something I like to call, what the fuck? What the fuck? WTF, WTF, WT motherfucking F. And first off, on tonight, it's what the fuck? Apparently, this Texas man was arrested for stealing 2 monkeys from the Dallas Zoo. And then he was in front of the judge, and he's like, "Hey, if you release me, I'm just going to steal more monkeys." I mean, got to hand it to him for being honest. But yeah, dude just going into zoos, cutting the fence, taking monkeys home. You're not supposed to do that. Leave those monkeys at the zoo. I'm thinking the guy might be like mentally ill or some shit. He took the monkeys from the zoo, and then he like was in an abandoned house with all these monkeys he had stolen. Seems bad. Might not want to do that. But yeah, I'm guessing he's like on the spectrum or has some kind of mental illness or something. So, poor monkeys. But they were not harmed in their return, so that's good. And speaking of crazy ass shit, have you guys seen the latest picture of Sarah Palin? What the fuck? She actually looks kind of cool. Giving off some of those vibes. You know the vibes I'm talking about. What happened? She found the good stuff. Apparently, Sarah Palin, kind of a little sex spot there. A little sex spot look, Sarah Palin. Damn, what is your conservative fan base going to think? Mama Grizzly. Sarah Palin. And then on the what the fuck. Just gets better and better, y'all. Fellas, is it gay to use a condom? Is it gay to pull out while you're having sex with a woman? I mean, it must be.
So I was telling them contraception is gay. And they're like, what? What do you mean it's gay? And I was like, well, sodomy, by definition, you're taking the procreation out of sex. And so hence, like if you're engaging in contraception, it's like, well, you're taking the procreation out of sex. You're gay, man.
We've said that on the show. Contraceptive sex is gay.
That's what all the guys are doing. They're having contraceptive sex.
They also are like, okay, well, what about pulling out? And I'm like, that's gay too, man. That's gay too. So I was telling them.
It's all gay. All gay all day. If you have sex with a woman, it's totally gay. Can't be any gayer than that. You know what's not gay? Butt sex with another straight dude. That's the only way you could be straight, is if you're having sex with a straight man. Write it down. It's gospel. And then on the what the fuck. Man admits to having child porn on a police job interview. What are you doing? First off, why are you taking... He had child porn on him, folks. He took child porn to an interview with the police. They gave him a lie detector test. And he was like, oh yeah, by the way, I have child porn on me. What is you doing? It's like you want to be caught. And here's the crazy part. He got the job. They hired. Okay, that's not true. That part's not true. The rest of it, though, is true. Authorities in Arizona say a man went from an interview for a job to being arrested. Arizona's family report that 25-year-old Sergio Celaya admitted to having videos and photos that contain child porn while taking a polygraph test. According to the El Mirage Police Department, Celaya was taking the test as part of the interview process to become a police assistant for the department. The 25-year-old reportedly admitted he still had sexual videos of his ex-girlfriend and him from when they were teenagers. Police said Celaya also told them that he would go on a website where videos of underage teen girls having sex would be sent to him. And they went and checked his computer at home, and they found all kinds of child porn. So, there's your first mistake. Don't go do an interview at the police station and don't take a lie detector test while you have child porn on you. You know, you think some things wouldn't have to be told to you, but here we are, folks. And what the fuck? And what else we got? One more, folks, to finish us out on this what the fuck. And yeah, so Senate Bill 199, Judiciary Committee, and this is a real question this trans woman got asked.
You said that you're a trans woman.
A trans female, yes, sir.
Do you have a penis?
Do you have a penis?
That's horrible.
Yes.
You're the one that brought that into the discussion.
You're the one. I didn't bring my penis or lack thereof in this discussion in any way whatsoever. You fucking troglodyte. Holy shit. What the fuck? And all right, folks, that is my what the fuck section. Gotta read the super chats now. Hell yeah. Let's do it. All right. Blaze it, says Bathtub Static. What's up? $20 from For the Fuzzies. Very generous. Thank you, Bathtub Static. And Jason Ashby gifted 5 Cult of Dusty memberships. Hell yeah. You guys can become a Dust Buddy for $2.99 a month and get customized emojis to spam the chat with. If you guys don't like receive socialism from the other heroes, just doling this shit out, then be sure to sign up. You know you want to do it. Glad you're keeping up the good show, Dusty. Keep it up. Hey, I'm doing what I got to do. Thank you guys for supporting me. Carmel G, $14.99 Australian. What's up, hey, you future motherfucker? Just had an ad for a Christian singles come up. Well, waiting for your show to start. Haha, take their money. I mean, I don't really get any of it, but I'd rather them spend it on this show than something else. Take my money, Dusty. I will. Thank you, Blazing Chronic. $4.99 from Justin Joseph. To paraphrase Bill Hicks, if you spend your time sitting around and playing songs backwards, you are Satan. Don't look any further. Poor Bill Hicks. I miss him. Dusty, here's $2. Gotta pay my credit card. Hey, thank you, Cupid Lover. I appreciate it. $10 from Urban Moss. People shouting random things in a crowded mall. I would automatically assume it was a mass shooter. I know, right? Duck and cover. Take my damn money. Thank you, Weird Thoughts. I will. K. Drew M. After totaling my car and my grandma's dying, someone stole $4 off my card. So to celebrate my dispute going through, have some cash. Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you for thinking of me, K. Drew. Greetings from Chemical, Ohio. Love your show, Dusty. Hell yeah. We're going to talk about that in the next section. Chud Watch. Thank you for the $10. Jason asked me 5 more. Get the subs. Hero. Thank you, Jason. You one of the good ones. Every mouse, $5. Imagine holding political beliefs you cannot speak publicly about and then thinking everyone else is wrong. Am I out of touch or is it everybody else? It's everybody else. And M. Martin is great. $2. Thank you, M. Martin. Appreciate it. Dr. Orangutan, $5. Might be losing my hair. Wish me luck going to the dermatologist, Dusty. Laughing my ass off for finasteride and minoxidil. Look into it. Nothing gay about the Navy, obviously. In the Navy, you can sail the 7 seas. And Rod, what's up, Rod? Rod with the socialism. Coming in like the hero he is. What's up, Rod? PSVR2 shipped. Be here soon. Be what, Dusty? Hell yeah. Mine is, I haven't checked to see if mine's shipped yet, but I got charged for it. So can't wait. Gonna be fun. Basset Out Gang, there is only one national anthem, the Hound Dog Anthem. It's that, you ain't nothing but a hound dog. I don't even like that song. Urban Mouse, $5. I bet my mortgage that Charlie Kirk has never been in a fight in his real life. His big watermelon head would be an easy target. Dylan with it like we used to. Yeah, right. He's so tough behind his microphone, isn't he? Urban Mouse, $5. Repubs, do you have a me? Why do you want to see it? I know, right? Mind your business. And $2 from JJ Rip. Appreciate it. And all right, folks. Kind of light on the Super Chats a little bit tonight, so please support the show on the Super Chats. Going to read all the rest of them at the end of the show. So plenty of time to immortalize yourself forever and support the greatest show in all of human history on the Super Chats. But now, moving right along, folks, let's do the Chud Watch. Hell yeah, we doing. Guess who's back? The greatest comedian of all time. Roseanne is back, folks. And holy shit, prepare to just laugh and laugh and laugh because she has some fresh material. Cutting edge, folks. Shit you've never heard before. This is why she gets paid the big bucks, writing all brand new shit for our entertainment. Let's have a listen.
No concept of reality. They've been living in a bubble forever. Asking questions have nothing to do with the real world. What is my gender, Mom? What is my gender? Your gender is get a job. That's your gender. What are they thinking? Ask what is a woman? They don't know that. That one they're asking all the time. What is a woman? I'll tell you what a woman is. A woman is me. That's what a woman is, okay? A woman is someone who cleans up everybody else's That's what a woman is. A woman is somebody whose boobs hang down to her knees with a prolapsed uterus from giving birth to 5 ungrateful little privileged never had to work for anything in their whole damn life. My pronouns are kiss my
Cutting edge comedy there, folks. Stealing jokes from Ted Cruz. Holy shit. This is like if Why My Kids Won't Talk to Me Anymore had a comedy special. I didn't even hear a single joke. It's just her yelling about why she hates everybody. You know what I hate these days? Kids. You fucking ungrateful little bastards. How come you have minds of your own? How come you are not just unfeeling robots that do whatever I tell you? You fucking little shits. It's just good God. This is why conservatives are not funny, folks. It's not that I lack a sense of humor. I tell jokes all the time. I mean, I don't know if they're funny or not, but I make an attempt. It's just when you tell this outdated bullshit that has just been done so many times, like I said, literally stealing jokes from Ted Cruz, folks.
All of y'all on campuses across the country, your classmates, even if they're scared to say it, are looking around thinking this stuff is nuts.
No, we're not. Unless you meant the stuff you're spewing's nuts, then yes.
I talked to a student recently at one of our woke college campuses who said she's required in every class to introduce herself and to give her pronouns.
I'm sure she is, right?
Well, I'm Ted Cruz, and my pronoun is kiss my ass.
Roseanne! Can't get any funnier than stealing jokes from comedy legend Ted Cruz. Just good God. Always whining. So here's the truth about Roseanne. Feel free to Google this. She has a history of being notoriously difficult to work with. Left her coworkers in tears because she's such a monster. Has a history of not only being incredibly difficult to work with, but spreading all kinds of vile nonsense publicly. Like her latest thing, where she called a black woman an ape, wasn't the first time she had referred to black people as monkeys, but she has a long history of being anti-Semitic or racist, spreading conspiracy theories. And in fact, after this last hubbubaloo, her co-workers were so tired of her antics, were so sick of her on her show, that they refused to work with her. It wasn't that she was canceled by society or even the network. It was her own writers and fellow actors who did not want to work with her any longer and said, we will not work with this person anymore. She is so vile. So I guess if your coworkers hate you, that's cancel culture. And she got canceled, folks. So she's doing the circuit, going to all the conservative shows, complaining. And here she is just basically trying to spread violence. Stochastic terrorism. This is what it's all about.
Let's turn it over to comedian Roseanne Barr. She's got a new special, Cancel This! Exclamation. It's now available.
So cutting edge. Cancel this! She should have called it Triggered. I mean, it's like always 2016 for these people. They live in a time warp.
Fox Nation. Can you make me feel better, Roseanne?
Yeah, I think I can. Hey, the same thing happened with the Bengals last year.
It keeps happening.
Yeah. Well, it keeps happening that the wrong people win all the time. And that just a small group of people decide everything for the rest of us. Isn't it disgusting?
It's terrible.
Yeah.
And it's making me sad. And I am the most positive person. My wife has never seen me like this. I'm milking it. Don't get me wrong. Milking it for all it's worth. But I don't like to be sad. And it's hovering over me. I don't know when I'm going to get over this, Roseanne.
Well, you shouldn't get over it, and neither should anybody else. And instead of sad, get mad, because that's what it's going to take. A whole bunch of us getting mad and then doing something about it. Not just sitting in your house and going, I'm not saying you're going wah, wah, wah. But we need to go, hey, wait a minute. This is our country, our government, and we're paying for these we're underwriting these football teams, too. You know, that's our tax money. That's our tax money, too, that we work our butts off, and the American people work their butts off, and they're stealing our tax money for all the rich people to put in their private pockets. It's time we just go, hey.
Literally, you support the party that was completely created to ensure rich people don't have to pay an extra dime in taxes. Cognitive dissonance, folks. Doublethink, where they can hold two ideas that are diametrically opposed to each other and yet consider them both true at the same time. Anyway, she goes on to say, hey, wait a minute. We're not going to do it like this anymore. You guys need to listen. And a whole crap load of us need to get together and make sure that happens. We need to do it in every state capital, and take it all the way. Talk about Mr. Smith goes to Washington, a whole bunch of Mr. and Mrs. Smiths. We need to go, and we need to do it. And if we don't do it, we are never going to get a chance to do it again. Like, she's talking about insurrections, folks. Stochastic terrorism. And speaking of incredibly unserious people, Tucker Carlson back at it with their whole cancel culture narrative. It's so tough to be a comedian these days, guys. You can't even tell jokes anymore.
That was the most racist joke ever.
Comedy is the hallmark of a free society.
Wokeness basically wants to make comedy illegal.
Listen, any offense? Yes, wokeness, folks, wants to make comedy illegal. Wokeness, this concept I just invented out of whole cloth, it doesn't actually mean anything, wants to make comedy illegal. Look, people accuse me of being woke all the time, and I am totally fine with that. Sure, I'm woke as you can fucking get. But jokes are beautiful. I tell jokes constantly. I say whatever I want to. I never feel the need to hold back in any way whatsoever. But I'm not a pathetic, whiny piss baby who continuously plays the victim. The only people worried about not being able to tell the jokes they want to tell are these fucking hacks telling the same old, tired material that they were telling 50 years ago. And the reason nobody's laughing is because it's not new anymore. It's been done to fucking death. Comedy has to be new and fresh. It has to be cutting edge. You can't do the same shit people have always done and then expect people to laugh. If you're not talented, if you can't come up with fresh new material, that's on fucking you. There's nothing more pathetic than whining and complaining because you're not funny anymore. Work on your material or shut the fuck up.
As a comedian, we're just trying to make people laugh. There is a fear of getting canceled.
Nobody can speak their mind.
Yes, they can. You can speak your mind. I do it all the fucking time. Zero problems. You goddamn pathetic snowflakes.
Oh, wow.
The one thing that people currently in power can't stand is being made fun of.
Yes, that's why you guys continuously bitch about cancel culture. That's what it's always about. You people in power have always had the power to be the only ones that had the megaphone. But now the common man can tell you instantly whatever they think about you, and you fucking hate it. So you had to invent this narrative of cancel culture to freak the public out with, to make yourself the fucking victims because you can't goddamn stand that society has power over you now. Whine harder, noobs.
And so then you have to play by their rules.
You're not going to be able to say certain things on YouTube. You're not going to be able to say certain things on iTunes.
Is that
That's the way it's always been. You can't scream the N-word on platforms that belong to other people. No shit.
Comedy?
Boy, what a disaster this is right now.
It is now.
I'm not giving a TED Talk. My job is to be funny on stage.
Comedy is supposed to show where the establishment narrative is wrong.
And then one girl goes, we think you're not entitled to be making some of the jokes you're making.
This is the current state of comedy.
Like, I'm sure there are people who are annoying, who lack a sense of humor, who think you're not allowed to say what you want to say, but you just tell them to shut the fuck up and go on with your life. It's such a small number of them. It has no effect on fucking you unless you want to play the victim because that's all you fucking got. Weak. It's weak. And you guys heard about this big train wreck that happened in Ohio? Well, as a little foreshadowing, you guys remember back in 2016 when Donald Trump campaigned on the fact where he was going to rescind all these guidelines. Trump rolls back train braking rule meant to keep oil tankers from exploding near communities. Now, we need regulations. This is a conversation I have with Mom all the time. She's always like, we never tried pure capitalism before. And I was like, Mom, if we don't have regulation, what is stopping a rich company from polluting the water? What is stopping them from dumping trash into the ocean? What is stopping them from doing any of that if we don't have regulations? And there's no good answer to it. You have to have regulations, folks. But obviously, rich corporations, rich people don't want regulations because it keeps them from making as much money as they can possibly make if they just destroy our goddamn society while they suck every goddamn penny they can out of us, right? Which is why the Republican Party exists. It exists solely for the purpose of rescinding all the rules that would hold back unfettered capitalism that allow them to rape society in every way they possibly can. That's why Trump was put in power. And he did exactly what he said he was going to do. And I don't mean to shit on TJ or the drunken peasants, but this is literally what I was arguing when I was on the drunken peasants, when all the skeptic community tried to destroy my career for speaking out against this. This is what I was talking about. Trump said he was going to rescind all the regulations. And I was like, this is the opposite of what we need right now. In a time where we know global warming is a real thing. We know the rich are sucking so much money out of the system. Wealth inequality is so out of control. This is the last thing we need. Well, didn't listen to me, and he did what he said he was going to do, folks. He got in office, and he rescinded the regulations. Trump rolls back train braking rule meant to keep oil tankers from exploding near communities. What could go wrong? Legislation was passed under President Obama that made it a legal requirement for trains carrying hazardous flammable materials to have ECP brakes, but this was rescinded in 2017 by the Trump administration. This is what conservatism brings to us. A polluted hellscape. So the next thing you know, this is what happens.
The toxic train wreck in Ohio is only the latest tragic example of corporate greed leaving innocent people to pay the price. Deadly chemicals like vinyl chloride spilled out of the wrecked Norfolk Southern train, sickening locals and killing wildlife. It may be years before we know the full extent of the damage. How on earth does something like this actually happen? Major rail companies like Norfolk Southern put off installing modern braking systems on their trains, an investment that might have prevented this disaster. It's not for lack of money. The 7 biggest railroad companies, including Norfolk Southern, collectively spent $191 billion on stock buybacks this past decade. They also chose to spend millions of dollars lobbying politicians.
They spent millions of dollars. They lobbied people like Trump and his cronies in order to rescind these things so they could buy their stock back, folks. Killing people, destroying our whole goddamn ecosystem, our environment, for fucking money. This is unfettered capitalism. You asked for it, you got it.
In Washington to repeal safety regulations that would have required them to make their trains safer. For too long, corporations have been given the green light to maximize profits, no matter the cost to workers or our communities. We must hold them accountable and demand that they operate in the best interests of everyone, not just their shareholders. Is that really so much to ask?
Yes, this is America. That is a lot to ask because we live in a society that's post-truth. Regardless of what happens, regardless of the fact we know this is what Donald Trump campaigned on, we know he's responsible for this. They still will pretend like he didn't fucking do it. They'll still pretend like this is Biden's fault somehow. But before I show you that, what's really amazing is even Fox News is calling out the truth on this one. Thought I'd never see the fucking day. I guess even a broke clock is right twice a day. Here's Steve Doocy calling out Donald Trump for this bullshit.
Right. Speaking of the White House, apparently regulations regarding train safety were changed during the Trump administration. This particular railroad and others lobbied President Trump to dismantle an Obama-era rule that would have required railroads to update their braking systems. And apparently the Obama administration had pushed for it to govern transportation of hazardous materials after about 500,000 barrels of crude were dumped. But ultimately, the Trump administration undid that and said the costs exceeded the benefits. Nobody understands. And
holy shit, they told the truth on Fox News.
Right.
What is going on?
Speaking of the White House,
I guess they really have abandoned Trump now. That's amazing. But of course, the conservative spin machine was out there twisting things in the most ridiculous way the human mind can possibly imagine. Case in point, Charlie Kirk went out there and said Trump should go to the rail disasters. Trump, who caused this, should go do like a campaign event and pretend like he had nothing to do with it. Shamelessness is their superpower, folks. Actually, I'm not going to play that clip. Let me move ahead along. This is the really crazy one. Then he got out there and he claimed the Ohio train derailment is part of a war on white people, folks. Of course it is. They rescinded the regulations so billionaires could make a couple extra fucking bucks. But somehow, white people are the victims here.
Not a single member of the Biden regime would dare to go to this portion of Ohio and breathe in the air because they know it's dangerous. They know that it is actively poisoning the citizens
Why?
of Eastern Ohio.
Who
so
caused it?
Why is it that they kind of shrug their shoulders and they say, yeah, okay, whatever. It's very simple. It's because the war on white people continues. Why would you care for the white working class voters in Eastern Ohio? You haven't cared about them in other reasons or other portions, and I will prove it to you.
Oh, my God.
If this train derailment happened in downtown Atlanta, in the densely populated black neighborhoods. This would be the #1 news story. It would be Flint water crisis 2.0. There would be clamoring and activism and talks for reparations.
Literally clamoring to fix the situation. News has been talking about it continuously all over my timeline. What the fuck you talking about, Willis? Good God. Beyond parody. And Temple, Beanie Baby himself, was out there blaming Antifa for it. Good God, y'all. We know it was Donald Trump. We know. Conservatives rescinded the goddamn regulations. We know what happened. They can never take responsibility for anything. Made millions of fucking dollars supporting this bullshit. No responsibility. Instead, Antifa did it. It's January 6th all over a goddamn again.
Dore County, North Carolina in early December, damaging equipment in what local authorities called a targeted attack that cut off power to more than 45,000 people. So how is it that we are suggesting it is accidental? We have right here direct statements in the press. Extremist groups did attack our power grid. What about the train? Remember when It's Going Down, the far left extremist website, gave instructions on how to derail trains?
Nope.
And now trains are derailing and they're full of chemicals and they're exploding. Yeah, I don't know. Trains derail, man. They really do. So what can be said? Is it a network of terrorists that are attacking our grid?
No.
It may be.
It's not.
But what can you do with this information?
Can hire Democrats, people on the left, to make regulations to hold these companies accountable.
Whether or not it's true is not what matters. Though it does play a role.
Whether it's true or not is not what matters, folks. And that really is the heart of every Tim Pool argument. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. What matters is it could be true. So who gives a shit? Be afraid. Blame the left, even though it has nothing to do with the left. Blame somebody else for the shit that we caused.
It's true that there is a network of extremists sabotaging U.S. infrastructure, then, oh boy.
Yeah, right.
I would argue that you should increase the amount of guns in your possession.
Yes. There's your takeaway, folks. Buy more guns because Antifa is derailing the trains. It's just no shame whatsoever. Shamelessness is their superpower. And he knows tomorrow YouTube's going to reward him. They're going to put him on the front page. He's going to make $20 more million this year. It's just incredibly fucking depressing. At the same time, he'll call YouTube woke while they reward him and give him millions of dollars. He'll call them woke. And here they are blaming Biden because the Republican governor decided to burn off the chemicals. Here's Jercules Kevin Sorbo says, let me get this straight. The same administration that says your gas stove is killing the environment, they didn't say that, you're lying, is responsible for burning chemicals into the air? No, they're not. Isn't one of the commandments, thou shalt not lie? It's just nuts. And as Ron Flopsky says, actually, Mike DeWine made the decision based on the recommendation of his donor, Norfolk Southern, who needed to clear the tracks to get more trains going through. Source, Mike DeWine's press conference. Hey, but don't let facts get into the way of your bullshit narrative. Gotta be Biden's fault somehow. And yep, here's another example of it. Mercedes Schlapp. This isn't very build back better of Joe Biden. Yeah, totally Joe Biden's fault that you guys elected Trump and he rescinded all the regulations, isn't it? Definitely. And is there any weirder cartoonist in the history of mankind than Ben Garrison? So the latest narrative is that wokeness caused this to happen, folks. It was wokeness because Pete Buttigieg took time off to take care of his baby. He took maternity leave. And while he was taking maternity leave, he didn't take any calls and he didn't do work on maternity leave. He actually focused on bonding with his baby. And because we're so woke in our society, we let gay men take maternity leave and bond with their babies. That's what caused the train derailment, folks. It was Pete Buttigieg. And if you don't believe me, believe Ben Garrison, who drew a cartoon about it. And let's see if you can notice what's odd about this cartoon. I'm just cakes! What? Oh, you can't see it because my head is in the way, but cakes, folks! Look at that! Now, I ain't never been much of a booty judge, but I'm gonna be one now, and I judge this booty delicious! Look at that delicious cake! Pete got it going on! What? Weird. That's weird, Ben Garrison, but also thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. I'm for it somehow. Damn. Ben Garrison horny on Maine. Weird. You guys are so fucking weird. I know. Junk in a trunk. And then he had JD Vance on there. And as I always say, shamelessness is their superpower. You can't get any more unserious than Tucker Carlson, who spends half his time railing against M&Ms or whatever this week's moral panic is. Here's JD Vance saying the problem is people in the government aren't serious enough.
My constituents in East Palestine have been some of the main victims of the fact that we have failing infrastructure in our country, again, after spending tons of money in an effort to actually fix it. So the problem we have, Tucker, is that we are ruled by unserious people who are worried about fake problems instead of the real fact that our country is falling apart in some of the most important ways. You mentioned
every accusation is a confession, folks. Literally talking about the Republican Party. There's no way to get more unserious than these people who have no plans, no policies, no positions that forward this country in any way whatsoever. Yeah, gonna say that shit with a straight face to Tucker Carlson of all people. And speaking of a great example of that, a completely unserious party, here's Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who picked this time to come out and say she wants to abolish the EPA. You know, the Environmental Protection Agency. Sarah Huckabee Sanders says, during my inaugural address, I promised to stop the meddling hand of big government code at the Mississippi River. Today, we are delivering on that promise. I have directed Attorney General Tim Griffin to sue the EPA to get bureaucratic tyrants in Washington off Arkansas's back. She's talking about rescinding regulations, folks. She's talking about doing the exact thing that led to the train derailment. Right after it happened, talking about that, folks. You can't get more unserious than these fucking people. But she knows the truth. She knows that if she causes the problem to happen again, if she causes disasters to happen, she will not be held accountable for it. She will blame the shit she caused to happen on the Democrats and get more votes, because that's how conservatives operate. They cause the problems. They never take responsibility. They're never held accountable. They're rewarded for it. Evil personified. And well, can you imagine if today they just now decided to make the law that you have to wear a seatbelt or that you can't drink in your car? Imagine what the response would be if it happened today. We would be accused of wokeism. We'd be accused of violating freedom by being tyrants and shit. Here's what it was like back in the 60s when these laws were proposed.
Any attempt to restrict drinking and driving here is viewed by some as
Maybe this is the 70s.
downright undemocratic.
It's kind of getting common when a fella can't put in a hard day's work, put in 11, 12 hours a day, and then get in your truck and at least drink 1 or 2 beers.
They're making it laws where you can't drink when you want to. You have to wear a seatbelt when you're driving.
You got a kid in the car!
Pretty soon we're going to be communist country.
Any attempt to restrict drinking and driving here is viewed by some as downright
The
undemocratic.
more things change, the more they stay the same, folks. These idiots have always fucking existed. These conservative fucking morons who never want anything to change. Always rail against even the most common sense shit. Just nuts. And folks, who loves overtime? You love overtime, and we have plenty of show to go still, folks. So reward me. Get your super chats in, please, if you're able to. Help us out and enjoy the overtime. And I'm going to skip that one. Let's go ahead and skip a few of these if they're not the best of the best. Let's see what this... Oh, yeah. Speaking of Trump, folks, holy God, look at these goddamn slobs. It looks like they all just butt-fucked to begin with. Why are they so wrinkly? Your clothes are so wrinkly. And this guy, good God, what a just fetal alcohol syndrome dipshit little nothing. Good God. And even this dude, why is he so wrinkled? And even Trump with his disheveled fucking hair. It just parodies itself, folks. And grooming the next generation while claiming the other side is doing that. Apparently, DeSantis is threatening to pull all AP courses because he's afraid that white folks might be taught some of their history. Can't have that. Can't have any white folks feeling bad about the things that our ancestors did. So let's just not have the courses at all, which is going to make it very difficult for students in Florida to compete with other states that actually have advanced courses. So good luck, Florida. You get what you fucking deserve. Let's skip that one. Let's skip that one. Let's go to this one. And speaking of completely unserious people like Tucker Carlson, here is the #1 show on the #1 cable news, in quotes, network in all of America with one of the most sexist rants you'll ever hear. How is this real life?
Jesse, does narcissism, does living for yourself, when it's always about you, is that the road to joy and fulfillment? I wonder.
You know, yes. I wonder why you called me a wise man, Tucker, because I'm actually very stupid. You see, when I was a kid, I thought I was wise. I thought I was very intelligent. I did. And you know why I thought that, Tucker? Because I had a mom who loved me, and she was always, Jesse, you're the smartest, and Jesse, you're the best. And then one day, I'm 18 years old, and I got a 0.0 grade point average in college. I'm not making that up. And I realized you're not actually smart. Everything you've been told is a lie, Jesse. You're actually quite stupid, and you're going to have to deal with that. That's what you see women like Chelsea Handler, feminists like Chelsea Handler going with now. They've been lied to by their society forever, that you could be a girl boss and you can do anything a man can do, which everyone who's ever seen a woman back up a vehicle knows that's not true. But either way, they've been told that they should do career and don't do a family or anything like that. And soon you're Chelsea Handler. Soon it's Valentine's Day and your womb resembles a dried up tumbleweed blowing down an old western town. And your Valentine's Day date for the 10th year in a row is a 10-year-old copy of Magic Mike and a half-full bottle of Xanax, and you're trying to pretend like you're happy, but you're not happy. And it's actually not her fault. She's been lied to by a country that has lost its way.
That is some seriously sexist shit. And as someone who is in his 40s and doesn't have any kids, I gotta say, I'm pretty fucking happy about it. I'm not saying you have to take that path, but I definitely think you could be happy and childless at the same time. Imagine having disposable income to do whatever you want to with it, have as much fun as you want to, without having the pressure of kids. It's pretty amazing, to be honest with you. Good God, what a trash country. And speaking of trash, here's the American First crowd. Dalton Clodfelter with his popular podcast, because of course it is, gonna tell us what Valentine's Day should be like for the women's.
Women have a purpose, and women, they need to be molded by the man. And they basically they're like, they need to be a blank slate when you meet them.
Ladies, he's single. Don't you all want to be molded by this genetic specimen, this supreme alpha male? He's definitely not an incel, folks. Better jump on that shit.
There's no political opinion. There's nothing. It's just natural instinct.
Not even favorite music.
Nope. No favorite music, nothing. They are a completely blank slate when you meet them, if you're looking for a wife. And then you give them that. You know, it's me saying, I believe that the races are different. Oh, okay. I believe that Jews control the world. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. You know, it needs to be like that. It's that type of relationship. Women have...
Definitely, this dude beat him off with a stick. Save some for the rest of us, Clodfelter. Holy shit, what a pussy hound. And, did you guys see Jimmy Doorknob stumping, shilling for James O'Keefe, pretending like, hey, James O'Keefe isn't a giant fucking piece of shit that his employees outed and got fired because he mistreated them? No, it's a conspiracy where Big Pharma is trying to set him up because, you know, when you're incredibly fucking left-wing, the most important thing to do is spend your time defending James O'Keefe. Holy God, I'm not even gonna play the clip. I'm tired of Jimmy Dore. We're gonna skip past that for now. And speaking of people that get what they fucking deserve, imagine storming the Capitol building because Donald Trump told you to do it. Trying to overthrow our government and installing Donald Trump as a dictator. Then getting arrested for it. And then your only defense is, hey, we were doing what we were told to do by the president. We were following the orders of the commander-in-chief. In order to prove that's what you were doing, you beg Donald Trump to come to your court case. In fact, they filed an emergency motion demanding he show up. Here it is. Subpoena to testify at hearing on trial in criminal case. Donald J. Trump, you are commanded to appear. You must appear. Help us, Donald Trump. You are our only hope. And he just fucking ignores you, throws you under the bus, wants nothing to do with you, and good. Suffer, motherfuckers. That's what you get. And you guys hear about this one? You guys remember this guy from Charlottesville? Remember the white supremacists and their little khaki pants and their polo shirts and their tiki torches and Jews will not replace us. Remember that? Well, anyway, here's a shocking development. Apparently, he was smuggling fentanyl across the border? Yeah, you remember how they're continuously fear-mongering that Mexicans are trying to kill us all. They're going to give fentanyl to our children. They're going to make it look like candy and pass it out at Halloween. Those evil Mexicans, be very afraid. Well, it turns out the white supremacists were doing it. He was going to go on trial looking at 30 years. And, yeah, he killed himself. Yeah, dead, this guy. Dead as a fucking doornail. This asshole. And, deleted, belly up. Couldn't have happened to a more giant fucking piece of shit. And, yep. Here's a video explaining it.
Charlottesville Tiki Torch was a fentanyl smuggler, one of the infamous thugs from the Charlottesville tragedy in 2017. Turns out to have been a drug runner. He was caught with 33 pounds of fentanyl trying to cross the border from Mexico into the U.S. He was arrested, indicted, and about to be tried, but he appears to have committed suicide just before trial. But sure, tell me all about how Latinos and liberals are the problem with the border. Go on, I'll wait.
Yeah, where you at? Where you at, conservatives? Where you at, Donald Trump? That was one of your own. Almost seems like you guys are full of shit. And, we're going to skip that one. Let's do this one. Nikki Haley running for president and got out there today and claimed America is not a racist country.
Joe and Kamala even say America's racist.
It is.
Nothing could be further from the truth.
Okay, then a good question is, how come you use your middle name instead of your real first name, and you always have? True story, your real name is Nimarata Nikki Haley. It's weird that you use Nikki instead of Nimarata. I wonder why that could Is it because we're a racist country and you know they'll judge you because of it? It's almost exactly like that's the fucking reason. Way to tell yourself, Nikki Haley. And all right, that is my Chud Watch. Hell yeah. Let's go ahead and read the Dirty Sexy Pores. I had a whole bunch of Elon shit. I think we're going to skip that for now. I'm going to jump over and finish this off with some heroes and some slow news week. And I'm going to do the Karen section and the Elon section in my after party. So if you guys want to see that, you have plenty of time to jump on over on my Patreon. There's a link in the description of this video to my Patreon. Exclusive content. We're going to do probably 2 shows a week, exclusively for patrons only. I think, as far as I can tell, that is the most moral way to make money for the show. I don't sell anything. I don't con people out of money. I just make extra content, and the people want to support the show and watch my extra stuff can support the show that way. I don't know how to do it any better than that. So if you guys want to support that, then jump on over to my Patreon and donate whatever you can. Let's see what you guys got to say. Icky Nicky, Trump came with that one. Trump's got 1 million of them. His latest one is Meatball Ron, which is supposed to make fun of him for being Italian, I guess. Seems in poor taste, but that's Trump. That guy's talking about himself. He needs a mirror. I know it's always projection. Every accusation is a confession. Yeah, I don't really have ads. I don't make any money off the ads. Like, I don't sell like buckets of shitty food. I don't sell dick pills. I'm just trying to figure out the most moral way I can run my shit as I possibly can. So reward me for that. All right, move right along, folks. Let's finish it off with, let's do one Heroes. And I want to go ahead and play the Heroes thing because it's so damn good. And I love me some Billy Bowie. Let's see where it's at. Boom. We could be heroes just for one day. Hell yeah, we got one and only hero tonight. And it is this gentleman, Roland Martin. I don't even know who he is, but I agree with Mark Lamont Hill. Almost like he's hiring actors to destroy. I'm assuming he's not, but he's an incredibly well-spoken individual. Let's have a look at him laying the smack down.
I look at the Republicans trying.
Where?
Everywhere, Roland.
South Carolina, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, Arkansas, Texas, Mississippi, Alabama.
Exactly.
They all are against Medicaid expansion and rural hospitals.
Roland,
are you telling me rural hospitals? Are you literally telling me that rural hospitals in Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, Arkansas, Tennessee, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina are not shutting down? Are you actually telling me that?
I am not telling you that, but
so
what I am saying,
if they're shutting down, how then are the people able to get care? How?
Roland, what I am saying is that there are, when we talk about aborting babies, like, so you're saying to me that because we support life, actually giving babies the opportunity to live. I'm confused.
Baby born. I'm so confused. First of all, hold up. You're confused because you think I'm saying something that I'm not.
Well, tell me what you're saying.
What I'm telling you, I'm being very clear. You cannot say you are pro-life when you vote against prenatal care for the mother. You cannot say you are pro-life when you vote against Head Start. Right. You cannot say you are pro-life when you do not want to expand Medicaid to keep hospitals open. You cannot say you are pro-life when you have OBGYNs who are not available in your state. Yeah. You cannot say you are pro-life when you have black women who are dying at a higher rate during childbirth and you do nothing public policy-wise to fix it. You cannot say you are pro-life if you allow infant mortality rates to be sky high in areas where there are black and brown people. What that tells me is you are anti-abortion. You are not pro-life. Right. Because if you are pro-life, you care about the child in the womb and when the child is out. And if you are pro-life, you are standing there with black folks when their kids are killed by cops. You are not silent. So if you're pro-life, be pro-life from the womb to the tomb, but not just in the womb.
Okay.
Holy shit! Lay off, she's already dead, dude! Flawless victory! Good lord! That was pornographic. Amazing. That is my hero section. And let's go ahead and jump into some slow news week to finish this out with, folks. Feel free to yeehaw along with me. You know you want to. Slow news week with Dusty Smith. Yeah. Love the yeehaw. And starting us out, folks. So, you guys know how I'm like psychic and all that. Of course you do if you're paying attention. Nobody predicts shit like Dusty. Well, apparently another one of my predictions already come true so quickly. Penises are growing fast, study says. Apparently dicks are getting bigger, y'all. A new study out of the Stanford has found that while over the last 30 years, cisgender men's sperm count and testosterone levels have decreased, their penises have gotten longer. Michael Eisenberg, a medical doctor and professor of urology at Stanford Medical School, is concerned about the declining sperm quality and testosterone levels, but the dicks are getting way bigger, folks. Like an inch bigger. What we found was quite different from the trends in other areas of male fertility and health. Erect penile length is getting longer, from an average of 4.8 inches to 6 inches over the past 29 years. Who could have possibly have seen this coming? I did, motherfuckers! And I'm going to show you. You guys remember my classic video discussing this very thing? 11 years ago, folks. The Big Dick Theory by Dusty Smith.
So, I don't know if you guys have noticed or not, but our society seems to become completely obsessed with giant dicks. It's true. We've turned penis size into a status symbol where bigger is definitely better. You know, and it don't take no brain genius to see where this one's going. If this keeps up, man, eventually all women want to have sex with nothing but big dick dudes. And then this big dick gene is going to get carried on the next generation. And even though this generation has way bigger dicks than the last generation, even that won't be enough to satisfy the giant cock hunger of these ladies. And they go out and naturally select the very biggest cocks from these already very large penises. And this will happen generation after generation after generation, and dicks will become bigger and bigger and bigger, until eventually dicks are too giant to fit in the normal female vagina. So obviously, the female vagina is going to have to evolve too, and it's going to get bigger and bigger and wider until eventually babies just fall right out of the damn thing. So obviously, the little baby's head's going to have to evolve and get bigger and bigger so it doesn't fall out of these giant vaginas. So as these babies' heads get bigger and bigger and bigger, there's going to be room for bigger and bigger brains. So that in a nutshell is my very basic theory on why I think our society's obsession with giant cocks is going to lead to a race of super geniuses. It's really not that hard to understand if you just think about it, people. It's just basic evolution.
That's right, folks. Basic evolution. We're going to be super geniuses thanks to the giant penises. Thank you, Dusty. And you know what's amazing about this video is how I haven't changed a bit. The voice exactly the same. I look exactly the same. Incredible. And then on the on the slow news with Dusty Smith. Moving right along from that one as quickly as I possibly goddamn can. Let's skip this one. Apparently 7 states going to require ID to watch porn online. No, thank you. That's what a VPN is for. And all right, one more. Let's finish it off with this one, folks. Apparently, Mars Wrigley was fined after workers fell into a giant vat of chocolate. Hey, do you want to create delicious supervillains? Because that's how you create delicious supervillains. Wait till they get a taste of me. Anyway, apparently they were fine. They got them out of there. One had to be flown to the hospital and whatnot. But do better, Mars. We don't need no chocolate jokers out there. And that is my slow news week, folks. And gonna read the super chat, folks. And we're gonna skip over to the patron only show. We're gonna do this Karen section. I have 4 Karens, and we're gonna cover the Elon Musk news. I don't know if you guys heard about the Elon Musk thing, but he's threatening to sue people for telling the truth about him. Your entire timeline now is every fucking thing he posts on Twitter. This giant fucking man baby, so desperate for attention. He's forcing us to see all his tweets and other hijinks from Elon Musk along with the Karen section. So be sure to sign up on my Patreon. Donate whatever you can. It's totally fucking worth it, and you know you want to. Let's go ahead and read the super chats. Light Brother Show Super Chats. Brian C, $5 for skipping doorknob. Hell yeah. Well earned. E! What's up, E? Great show tonight. Hey, I appreciate you, E. Always much love to you, E. Look forward to going and hang out with you for too long. JJ Ripper, $2. Thank you, JJ. Appreciate you. Dr. Orangutan. I don't know what to say here, so I'll just say I miss my ex. Hey, I also miss your ex. What? Max Idol, $20. Very generous. Thanks, Dusty. I love how Tuck and Chuds forever is less than one human lifetime, and they are losing their minds. How Tuck and Chuds forever? I don't even know what that means. I am lost. But anyway, if they're losing their minds, I'm for it anyway. Hopefully we can own them. Pretty cool. Kitty Co, $15, $10. I can't even fucking see. I need to get new LASIK. My LASIK is fucking up, y'all. Can't wait for Slow News Week. Yeehaw. You got it. You asked for it and you got it, you sexy motherfucker. Yarb, get to 5 Cult of Dusty subs. Hell yeah. You get a sub and you get a sub. Everybody gets a sub. You motherfuckers are so generous. And Mr. Anderson gets to 5 subs. What? Man, I have the best audience ever, folks. You guys make the show so good. I love you. Who loves overtime? No loves overtime. Fuck yes. And then he got the job. I know he did. He didn't really, but you believe it for a second because it's cops. For the furries. Praise the furries. Hell yeah. I know. Baby Yaya. What up, baby Yaya? They just sent you $5. You better be grateful. MJ Tinsonot, $2. Thank you, dude. Just because you rock, you do. Clear Singularity. And Urban Mosk is tonight's Super Chat Heavyweight Champion of the World. Came in big with 100 buckaroos. Just because I love you, Dusty, I love you back. Because you're very, very sexy, Urban Mosk. My fiance Sarah says hi. What up, Sarah? You chose wisely. Here's something for the kiddies. Thank you, Christopher Warnick. $20 is very generous. I'm going to give him a treat in your honor and in Urban Mosk's honor. JJ Road, $2. Appreciate you. All right, I read that already. I think I'm all caught up. And $100 for me. Got in at the buzzer. E. Always a hero of the show. One of the greatest human beings to ever live. You guys give love to E. He absolutely fucking deserves it as always. Roland Martin also did good on PBD podcast. All right. Go check out Roland Martin. That guy seems smart. Very good speaker. Puts me to shame. Motherfucker. And all right, folks, that's my show and that's my time. We're going to switch over and do the patrons only show. We have a huge Elon Musk section. We have some Karens. You're not going to want to miss that. Link in the description of this video. So be sure to click on it and go to my Patreon. There's also a link right here in the middle of this whole, here it is. Boom! The Dusty Smith Show, the greatest one-man show in the history. And see, episode 201, patrons only, the after party with Dusty Smith. And you guys don't want to miss the after party because it's the best party in goddamn town. So be there, be square. And you also have access to all the other after parties, which are also amazing, especially the one I did about Ken Hoven. Expose all that bullshit. You don't want to miss that. So whatever you can afford, whatever you want to donate, get you access to all my special exclusive material on Patreon. So jump on over to that. I'll be over there in 5 minutes. Gonna go to the bathroom. Love the shit out of you guys. The rest of you motherfuckers I'm gonna see on Monday. It's only a weekend away, so you guys make sure you have an amazing weekend. That is an order, a demandment. Do it to it. Let's play some Wobble Wobble to finish this off while I run to the bathroom. Have a good weekend. Love the shit out of you guys. See you soon. Good night, everybody. Yes, there's an after show. Switch over to Patreon now. Link in the description of the video, mofos. Do it, do it. 5 minutes to showtime. All the cool kids, switch over now. Go, go, go to Patreon, mofos. Good night, y'all. Fade this bitch out.